You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey folks, welcome to the Thursday night Beans and Dice live call-in show. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Wayne.
And we are here to talk about how you game for all you folks at home. We will open up the phone lines in about 20 minutes, like 9:20.
All right.
Give us a chance to get the primer going. We got Mr. Jeeves in the chat.
Hey.
They are.
There.
We are. We are.
They're there.
Yep, we are.
Yep.
They're
Late.
Oh, late. A little delayed.
Comedic timing. I like it.
Yeah.
It's that Illinois humor.
I like
20
Mitchell,
minutes.
so you could just join the actual
You've
show.
got the link.
Mitchell's got to wait
You
20 minutes
got the
before he can get on the show. No, he's a 20-minute blockout.
He wants,
Really?
he wants to call in and reclaim his first caller status from.
Well, let's get the primer going. Let's you know, I figure with us running the show till 11 p.m. regularly, give us an opportunity to get a primer, a primer. I don't know. Wayne, you just came back from England. How would they say it? Would they say primer, primer?
Primer, probably. I don't know.
He didn't ask.
I figured he'd come back with an accent at this point.
No.
They say pedophile in England.
Pedophile.
Let's get back on schedule, guys. All right, come on.
On schedule.
Schedule.
See, phone lines open at 9:20 Eastern. Give us a chance to talk to you about what we've got going on gaming-wise. I saw a video this week that got me thinking about this topic. Friend of the show and caller, Jamie Stegmeyer, did a video this week about game modes. You know, what his thoughts were on games that come with game modes. An example of what he gave is games that have a cooperative mode along with a competitive mode in the rule set, or a game that is one versus many, or can be played fully cooperative, or multiple bad guys in there. So
I think the best example they came up with was the Tiny Epic Zombies, where there's solo mode, team mode, one versus many, everyone versus zombies versus everybody. Like there's like 7 different modes in that game. Yeah, overkill.
That's definitely one I didn't think about. But you're right. That's part of what turned me off. And I guess his question was to the folks out there, which we'll have the panel talk to today, all the folks here, is does that make you desire the game more, or does it put you off?
I didn't see the video, but less for me for sure. I mean, that's I do one thing, do it right. Maybe do 2 things if you're feeling optimistic and froggy. But trying to do 5 things, trying to please everybody, then you're probably not doing anything well. That's my opinion.
I watched the video after you posted it, Carlos, and I was thinking to myself. I said, like, of all the games I own, I started thinking about like ones that have different modes, and I'm like, I've never played them in more than one of them, right? So it's like, and I think Jamie said that, he's like, do what you do best, right? Design the best game and release that. And then later on, expansions or add-ons. You want to add a campaign on, you want to add a solo mode on, you want to add that. Those are good things to add on. But if the game is meant to be a competitive 4-player game, just make a competitive 4-player game. Because I think of all the games I own that have multiple modes, I really only ever played one of those modes. So why bother with it?
Which is kind of funny coming from Jamie because he always has a single-player mode.
Well, I think single player is a little bit different. That's kind of like an add-on. I think he even kind of acquiesced to that, but I think he was mostly talking about like the one versus many and then cooperative or everybody for everybody or whatever. Those kind of those different modes there. Yeah.
No, I wasn't bagging on it because I always think
no, bag on him.
No, bag on it. Yeah. I think the Automa is the add-on, right?
Yeah, and I think I think he has probably some of the best implementations of a single-player mode. But in my opinion is I rarely, if ever, play other modes other than the main one that it should be intended for. So,
well, my thoughts are solo. It's a variant, but I don't know if I would call it a mode because I think it's kind of like a given now to have to add a solo mode into a game.
Well, you've got designers now who all they do is design solo something. I forget whoever does the Automa system for Stonemaier. That's pretty much all they do. And so if somebody wants to go to them with a game that's already been made and just wants a solo variant, they just hand over the rules, and then 4 months later they kick out an Automa. So it's
I think there's a slight difference between the Automa, right, which is I designed Wingspan. and then somebody else comes along and figures out a way with cards to make it solo, versus me taking a game and trying to design my own solo version and add it into the rule book.
Sure.
You know?
Right.
I wonder if there's a difference there too. You know.
Well, like I think is it David Turksky that does a lot of the solo play for like war games, Osprey games.
Yep.
You know, but I don't consider that a mode. Like for me, like modes are variants that they add in the back of the book that you can add, like a third player, right? Like a third AI player is a mode. I like it.
2-player mode and the crew.
Yes,
I don't.
like that.
Nope.
That's a mode.
That's not how that game.
Never
should be
played
played.
it. Never
yeah,
used
neither
it.
have I.
Where you're kind of playing a different game. Is that what you're saying? Where you're really altering the rules? Because a lot of times solo player, you're playing the same game. It's just they're adding a make-believe player to play against. But maybe you're coming at it more that it's a change kind of in the fundamental way you play the game. Is that what you're thinking? Or
yeah, because it adds like a third different player. Gosh, there was a game
But
that
you're
I just
also
recently
talking
read the
about
rule books for.
like cooperative mode and non-cooperative mode in the same game and that type of thing.
Jill is yelling "Amen" every time y'all say solo variants are mandatory.
He's just trying to get us all to Missouri, throwing in the y'alls. No, but I think that's, you know, I'm not a fan of like, so I try to play games solo, but what I found is like the Automa, having to run an Automa or even in a 2-player game where you have to play a virtual third player, then that's not a 2-player game. Well, that's not a 2-player variant to the game, because it's really really what you're telling me is the game only plays good at 3 players. So if you want to play a 2-player, you have to have an AI bot play the third player or some kind of setup where you're running the third player. Then that's not a 2-player game. Or a game that can be played with 2 players. That's what you're telling me. And I really
Puerto Rico has it.
that.
That's what I was reading. I was reading the rules to Puerto Rico, and it adds like a third player. You know, it's an option because there's a 2-player mode, and then there's like a third player, you know, AI type bot mode.
Right.
Some of the games that I do like that have modes are like your dungeon crawlers, like Descent, right? Descent 2.0, second edition, has the standard way to play Descent, which was the original way to play, which is 1 versus many. One of you is the dungeon master, everyone else is the heroes, and one guy runs the dungeon, guy or gal, and tries to kill all the heroes, right? But then they came out with the app, and the app allows for full cooperative mode.
takes that on. Yeah.
Right. That's a mode that I like.
Okay.
Any modes that y'all have seen that you've liked?
I mean, beyond like, so you're basically asking like a game that let's say a 4-player Euro game that then comes with a mode to play
Viticulture.
it cooperatively.
Right,
So
Vidi World.
But that's an expansion, right? And it's kind of I guess it's not a standalone game, but it kind of is a standalone. You need the base game to play it. So,
Sun's out, guns out.
there you go.
Sleepless Williams back on the show.
Whoa, dude.
You guys were complaining, man. So I said, screw
No,
it.
you're here.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you wanted to join because you wanted to join the complaining party?
No, they were complaining that last week I had a shirt with sleeves on.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't complaining.
Yeah.
I may be complaining
Wow.
this week though.
Mike wants to go the other way. Put those sleeves back on.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Great
jealous.
Western Trail and Dune. This is James Odak says Great Western Trail and Dune have good solo modes. I think Lost Ruins of Arnak also has a great solo mode
I haven't tried
because it's not like Wayne was talking about where you got to run an AI. It's just a deck of cards or a deck of tablets that you flip and it tells you what it does. Keeps it simple.
All right. I got one that actually I will play solo all the time is Hadrian's Wall has a great solo mode.
it. Yeah. Oh, you
think-
mentioned that before. I haven't tried that solo.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just
Roman rights have good solos in general.
yeah, but it just has like a minor tweak as far as like when you're borrowing like the little Tetris shapes from other people, you know, to fill in the horse stable part. But yeah, it has a pretty good solo mode in it, and I've actually played that multiple times solo.
Mitch is looking to get clocked. Here in the comments,
Wow.
we have JLC says, "I am here to start talking about solos again." And then Mitchell lets us know that is Jill, that is his wife. And then of course he's got to throw in a punch there saying, "I have friends, so I don't play solo."
I'm sure there's a
I think
couch.
it's a jab at the wife.
Yeah, I think so. I think Mitchell could sleep on the couch with his sword tonight and have a good time.
Actually, Mitchell be the best solo player because he can get a game and get it done in like 10 minutes.
This is true.
That's true.
Just crank them out one after another.
Shots fired.
He's
says,
like,
Mr.
yeah.
James.
He's like, I want to let's play games. We're not done yet. I'm like, no, the box says 45 minutes.
Even like I've played. So back to like James Odak, you talk about Dune. Dune's got a decent solo. I've played Dune twice solo, and it's still you're running a bot, and yeah, they have a little app assisted thing, but you're still basically taking the turns for another player, right? So it's really a 2-player game, and you're playing against a bot.
That's why if the game wasn't specifically designed for solo, I usually don't like it. I usually don't like it. I don't like
with William here. I want to talk a little bit about different modes, and I know this might be more of the wargaming front, but like Star Wars X-Wing, it has its dogfight mode, and then it's got its epic mode, so it kind of allows it to open up into different versions. And then Imperial Assault came with Star Wars Imperial Assault came with 2 modes built into the box. If Imperial Assault would then added a 3rd mode, but Imperial Assault came in like Descent, 1 versus many. Right in the box, and in the box it came with a skirmish game, a full-on skirmish combat game that had its own organized play. It had world championships. I used to go compete in that, and then later came out with the app, which Robert and I played, which allowed for that full cooperative mode. So I think those are some good examples of games that come with modes that I think I would defy Jamie to say are a good thing, because Jamie Stegmeier's comment was almost what Michael talked about: come with the best mode, the best version of that game, and that's it. Like, if you're putting in multiple modes, it's because you're just cramming extra content in there to say, look at me, but you're not giving us the best version of the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that. I mean, like I say, do one really good, maybe dabble in a second, maybe do something just to draw in a little bit of a different crowd. But yeah, anything more than just a couple is you're stretching yourself thin. Like I say, I don't know that I've found one that does more than maybe 2, and it's still a really good game. So
any Kickstarter I see that touts that as like one of their pluses, I see it as a minus. I don't even bother looking at it, honestly.
Yeah.
And I might have missed out on some good games, but to me, it's a turnoff. Like, oh, you can play it, semi-cooperative, cooperative, competitive,
however
solo.
You want.
Yeah,
make it up. We don't care.
That's the one thing. Like, I just because I back every Tiny Epic game, I haven't played them all, but like I haven't yet played Tiny Epic Zombies. Right? I played like 3/4 of the games, but Zombies I haven't played, and that's the one that has, I said earlier, has every mode possible. And so like that can't be good. Like either one of the modes is really good and the rest are crap, or they're all crap because like they spent too much time trying to develop a game that can play them all at the same time. So I don't know if anyone here has played it or anyone in the chat's played Tiny Epic Zombies, but I definitely want to now, after this conversation, I kind of want to try that game and do a couple of different modes and see how they play. Right? Is it possible to develop a game to do them all right? Yeah,
I played it once in just one of the modes. I just played the competitive, everybody for themselves. That's the only one I've ever played. But
it sounds to me like when gaming companies design and they want to add extra modes, they're just trying to kind of like please everybody. And if you're designing a game to please everybody, you are already on a course to failure. That's how I think about you. Like you said,
I would agree with that.
You design a game. This is my game. There's going to be people who don't like it. There's going to be people who like it. I'm just going to design it for I think who people are going to like it, and that one mode. If people want to make stuff on the sidelines, through BBG or make some other kind of mode, knock it out. Have at it. Go ahead. But this is my game. This is what I made it for.
The one counter to that for me is I see every BGG channel entry has a forum for variants. I never go there. Ever.
No.
However, if a publisher or the designer publishes online for free a different mode or version of the game,
I've already got a game in my head that you're talking about.
What are you thinking?
Abomination.
Yeah. I kind of thought of that. That's kind of a fix to the rules, a fix to the game.
True.
Because,
I mean, you can still play the old way, but if you can,
because they're just it was the one that they wanted to make the game faster.
Well, it shortened the game up, which I think it needed.
It makes it less lucky, I guess, from what I understand. I've never played both. I haven't played both ways, but I understand that the original game, if I'm trying to remember if there's dice involved, but there was some way that you could just get lucky, and if you do everything and you get lucky on the 3 steps, you can just blast through the game and win. And somebody else, if they get unlucky with whatever the random part of it is, I can't remember if it's dice or whatever, then they can just get stuck on one stage trying to do it over and over and over again and never go anywhere. So it fixed that.
Go ahead, finish your thought there, Carlos.
No. For me, and I get it, it's a solo mode, but I was thinking Seven Wonders Duel. That's one. There's a few others that I can't think of them right now, but I've gone and printed them and put them in the box, even though I don't maybe plan on playing them. But I have like I guess that collector in me. If the publisher or designer puts out that PDF like official variant,
yeah,
you know, like I want it in the box.
I mean, then you're taking a game which specifically you took an original game. And then another game was created to design for only 2 players, and now it's another solo mode. It's like, where does it stop?
Yeah, but in a game like that, in a game like Seven Wonders Duel, the game is a great game. It was made for 2 players, and later on down the road, the developer said, "Hey, if people are wanting a single player version, let me see if I can figure it out." And then he put it out. It wasn't like the game was based around that from the beginning.
But a lot of that usually is people messing around with it at home too. They're sharing their thoughts.
Yeah. And is there a difference? So the question I'd pose to everyone is there like when we're talking about variants and modes, right? So you have your traditional 4-player Euro, right, worker placement game, and then there's a solo or 2 to 4 player, whatever, and then there's a solo variant that comes with the box. Is that really necessarily a different mode versus here's a game that you can play cooperatively, competitively, in teams?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I think there's a slight difference there, maybe between
absolutely
a game that you can run an AI bot to play it by yourself versus a game that goes through competitive to cooperative to teams to all for one for all for none. Like, I think there's a difference there.
Right.
Now I picked up recently reacquired a copy of Railroad Inc. Blue. So
is it? Did you re-pick it up because Rob bought it?
Probably.
I had red and I had blue, right? The CMON versions, and this topic came up. The game mode topic came up right as I was reading the rules to blue, but I loaned out blue and I never got it back. So then I started playing some Railroad Inc. again, and I wanted my blue back. Like, I want my lakes and rivers.
I like the lakes and rivers better.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right, streams and waterfalls. Don't go chasing them, okay? But what I found in Railroad Inc., this version, it's not a CMON production. It's just the Horrible Guild. Horrible Guild and CMON produced it the first time around. But this one I picked up. The rule book has been updated, and there's a new mode in here, Rob, that I am very excited to try out. I'm not sure if y'all saw this.
Multiplayer mode, yeah.
Well, it's already multiplayer.
Right.
But they added...
it's not making a solo version.
Yes.
Okay.
It's this game is very almost it is solo multiplayer.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
like
solo
I don't think there's anything we can do.
Yeah.
They've added a draft mode.
Oh, drafting
so like Terraforming Mars has the different versions of it in the rule book, but they added drafting mode. Now you need to own a copy. Every player that plays needs to bring their own copy of Railroad Inc. You're not going to use all the components. You're just going to use the white dice out of each copy. So you need one set of white dice for each player.
Okay.
You can throw them all into a bag, and then you can pull out 2 at a time, roll them in pairs, and set them up on the board, and then you draft those pairs until everybody has 4 dice, and those are the dice that you write on your board.
So you're not all using a community pool of dice, you're getting your own dice.
Correct.
Interesting.
And then each die has a value to it, and whoever has the lowest value that they've drafted after the draft is complete will be the first player for the next round.
Okay.
So it adds this almost competitive piece to it and a drafting piece. So there's, to me, an idea of a mode that I think would be something I'd like to try, something that might go well.
Now I got to check out. I just noticed that Railroad Inc. has an alpha game on VGA. We know that's been fully released, so I wonder if those variants are in alpha testing to release.
Oh, that's a good question.
Maybe.
I'll go look at that later. Yeah.
Well, on that note, I'm going to open up the phone lines because it is 9:20.
Mitchell, join the show.
Come on, Mitchell. Come on. Come on.
Phone lines are open. 813-618-7099 is the number. We're talking, our starting talk with regards to game modes and what we think of them, but you can throw that out the window and just talk about what you want to
That's
talk
more
about.
of a variant if you think about it.
And that's what modes are to me. They are variants.
Is there a difference between mode and variant?
Is
There
there?
is.
I mean, English
it
is
says
not
right
my first
in the
language.
rule book of Terraforming Mars. It's a draft variant.
Beans and Ice Podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
It's Mitchell, Louisiana. What's up?
Hey,
Mitch, what's going
He's
on?
like, it's just me.
Nah,
what it sounds
too
like.
much. Yeah, it's just me, nothing. My wife is freaking out now because she decided to tune in and I had to mute the computer now that I'm on the call. She's running away to her room to listen.
Go somewhere else to listen. All right, we'll get another set with us on. That works. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
know you guys are having
hilarious
fun
if
talking
she
about
beat you to a
modes,
phone call, though.
but there's way too much talk of solo that I don't enjoy.
Oh,
So I might have to
I told
change the
you, I
topic
knew
a
it.
little bit.
He does not like that mode.
What's up?
Yeah, no, I have been pining to tell you guys about Marrakesh since I played it with BJ the other night on Board Game Gumbo's Twitch stream, the new Stefan Feld game. It is fantastic, and this is not a paid promotion, but I think everybody should go and back it because it's back on Kickstarter, and it's great.
Yeah, I know you were giving a big thumbs up in the Discord. So I don't know that any of us have played it. Tell us a little bit about it. What's the elevator pitch?
So you are basically playing like 12 different mini games, and each mini game is simple to understand and simple to score, but you're having to balance which ones you're playing at any given time. And I thought it was a really, really cool mechanic. So it's called Marrakesh. I know there's a game with the Marrakesh with a C. That's the little carpet game. It's with an S, and it just came out this year.
How do you spell this?
So Marrakesh.
There we
So there's 3 rounds.
There you go. Go ahead.
What's that?
We were trying to find it on the BGA, and we couldn't spell it.
We found a Marrakesh with a CH.
Yeah, that's with the little carpet. Yeah, no, it's with an S instead of a C. So anyway, each season, there's 3 seasons. Each of you get 12 little wooden columns that are called keshi. They're the residents of Marrakesh. They're keshis. And they each do different things. Like one might be a fisherman, one might be an entertainer. I'm mentioning the theme for Carlos.
No. Stay away.
Anyway, on your turn, what you do is you pick 3 of those keshis that you're going to activate. Now, there's 4 rounds in each season, so some simple math, 3 times 4. You're going to activate all 12 of them, right? Whichever 3 you activate, you put your worker on that action, meaning you will do that action this round. But the actual keshi go into a cube tower, and then you draft them. So then you're drafting these keshi, and you put them on the space where your workers are to make your actions better. But just because you draft the keshi doesn't necessarily mean that you get to do the action. You have to have the worker there. So you're already thinking about 2 different things. Whichever one I put in the draft, that's the action I get to do. But I may not draft that one. I may be getting one that I'm going to need to put into place for a future turn to be able to do that action and make that action better. So that part of it's really, really cool. And you're trying to think and hate draft a little bit, think about, okay, what kind of keshi does he need? Because he put his worker on this action this round. So if I don't get the orange keshi, then he's going to be able to put it on that action and make it even better. So maybe I should get the orange keshi. And it's just a little, very, very thinky. And I think it's got a weight of 3.5, almost 4 on BGG. But it's just because you're juggling a million balls. And it's not because anything within it is super complicated. It came out as part of the Stefan Feld reprint of the City collections, these super deluxe versions of his older games, but this was the new one that came out. And so I guess they're kind of going backwards. They created this really deluxe version of this new title, and people are liking it a lot. So now just the other day on Kickstarter, they announced a streamed down version of it that you can get for more affordable, which y'all know I'm not big on Kickstarter, but I think I'm going to back it because I enjoyed the game.
Wow. Yeah, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Where did you get to play this?
So a friend of BJ's who lives in New Orleans backed the City Collection, and he got it, and he happened to be in town, and we streamed it on Board Game Gumbo.
So this was a new game that he developed that came out with that crazy City Collection, and now so you played that crazy deluxe version, and you're willing to go back and
right.
And okay, cool.
So is this not a reskin of an old game, or?
No, it's not. It's the only original one.
Oh,
Some of the
okay.
games are being renamed and
Yep.
slightly retooled, but this is the only completely original one.
Okay, that's because that's what I've heard so far is that these games have been hit and miss. But yeah, I'd heard that all of them, I guess up till now, had been reskins of old games, and it's confusing people because they're giving them new titles and they're changing. They're all named after cities or whatever, and they're changing the name. So it's like old this is now this, and this is that. So
Right.
yeah.
I saw a playthrough of this on MVM, and it looked really good. It kind of piqued my interest, but yeah, now that Mitchell's talking about it, it may convince me to go out there and snag it.
The photo on
My goal to make you spend more money, Mike.
Yeah,
Mitch, I don't need you talking me into spending money on Kickstarter. I can handle that all on my own. Thank you very much.
I tell you what, that photo on the Kickstarter page that has this kind of the whole spread out of the game. It looks like busy. I mean, it looks a lot.
Yeah, I think William. I even heard William groan a little bit over there.
Why?
So
Because
I
it looks
like
Queen Island. I like Queen's games. I got quite a few of them. I mean, it has a freaking cube tower. What do you expect?
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
Shogun.
Yeah.
It's Shogun, baby.
Yeah. So it looks busy, but I mean, if you look at it closer, it's like the different neighborhoods or districts in the city, and it's color coded very, very well. And once you understand what each of the colors does, it's really not that complicated to follow. Now, the cube tower, I'll bring this up. I don't think I'd ever played a cube tower before, actually.
Wow.
So I was kind of confused by the concept because it's not cubes you're dropping in; it's these little cylinders, and 99% of the time they all come out. So it seemed kind of pointless. But
no, they used this because those look like the action markers for Crusaders That Will Be Done.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it looks similar shape to that. That's what they're throwing in the tower.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, then they're all gonna fall out
And
because
is
they have like a
is it-
spherical side to it.
Yeah. Is it supposed to all come
Yeah.
out every turn, or is some supposed to stay in the tower?
Some are supposed to stay in. That's why it's a cube tower.
But
I mean,
is it because
it might have happened 3 or 4 times that one would stay, but it wasn't often.
Is it because the deluxe components got rid of the cubes? That's usually what happens.
No, like the stripped down essential edition has those same ones as well. Those little columns.
Because
I
in
wonder if
Shogun,
that's purposeful.
well, because in Shogun, when I went and they reprinted Shogun, the big box edition, you were able with the deluxe components, they got rid of the cubes and made them tiny meeples, so they actually get stuck in the tower more often now.
Because they have flat sides, like bigger. flat
Right,
sides.
and they're like little meeples, and they get stuck in little corners, and so actually makes it. I think it made the game a little bit more interesting.
I think Rob is scowling a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that's weird. Why would they do that? I mean, that
Maybe they wanted a less percentage to actually get stuck, but there was still that small chance that something could get stuck. So
My thought is, hopefully there would have been a lot of thought behind it. Hopefully that's
I would
a
imagine.
balancing or a design decision instead of just an aesthetics thing. Because that's to go and break a game.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if it's an aesthetic thing, I mean, what's even the point of dropping it in the tower?
Right.
Well,
Just for
I will
funsies?
say this:
Yeah.
you might want to make sure that tower is properly put together, because if
Yeah,
not,
well,
then
so it wasn't
the holes go straight down.
yeah.
It
supposed
wasn't
to
my
be like-
copy, but I've seen reviews online that are saying the same thing. So we were playing with 4 players. So dropping 12, like I said, every now and then one would get stuck. But I've heard like at a 6-player count, so you're dropping half as many, that it pretty much 100% of the time they all go through,
Wow.
I don't like that.
Interesting.
no matter the copy.
That's weird.
It seems pointless.
If that's how it's designed, though, I mean,
I just it's just like you lost me. Honestly, the game looks cool, but you kind of lost me. You're playing 12 mini games within this big game. I'm like, gosh,
That's a cube.
Come on.
No, that's a cylinder, Rob.
Is that a cylinder? It looks like a
Well,
cube.
it's the hex, just kind of like the action cube or
Is
the
that
action token for Thy Will Be Done.
Right. Okay. It looks
It's on
like a
the
cube on
side.
that picture to me, but is it on the side maybe?
Everything's a cube to you, Robert.
Yeah. I see cubes everywhere.
Put square pegs and circle
cubes.
holes.
All right.
Well, that's a good call out, Mitch. Good call out.
Yeah, one other game I played. I mentioned one more. I know I've been on for a few minutes, but I picked up Blazon recently.
I think I
it's a
saw
game
it
where
behind you in that video you just posted.
Yes.
You had it all
It's a fun
standing
little
up
game.
and showing off right there in the front of all your other games.
Yeah. So you're building a heraldic crest, like, you're in medieval times and you have to make your family crest. And so you're drafting these cards, and you can only match them up with certain icons on your player board, which is your shield. But also there's like there's global goals. Like if you have this color and this pattern and this shape on your shield, you may get points. I picked it up just because the theme intrigued me, and it was for sale on Fun Again. But the mechanics are pretty solid. It's a quick, like 30 to 45-minute game, easy to teach, but a lot of strategy. It's another one I really recommend. So
Really?
those are the 2 new games I played in the past week, and they were both hits for me.
I've seen 2 reviews of this one, and they were both bad. One was
Really?
Yeah, one was Dice Tower, and I think the other might have been Man vs. Meeple. And I completely wrote this off because everything I've seen, 2 things have both been bad. So I'm intrigued now that you liked it.
Everyone in my group seemed to like it. I played it with like 5 other people over the course of a couple of days, and everybody enjoyed it.
Huh.
I don't know. Check it out for yourself and see if you see a copy of it. It's not a long teach or a long play, so it won't take a ton of your time just to try it out.
Okay. All right.
I like the idea of building your family crest.
Yeah, I was saying, I think this was a Kickstarter, and I almost backed it when it was on Kickstarter, and I ended up not, because it was at the point where I was kind of pulling back on Kickstarters, and I was like, oh, this is a cool theme, right? I like the theme of creating your heraldry and that stuff. But then, like Rob, some of the early reviews since it got released were somewhat negative in its gameplay. So it's good to hear that you liked it.
What did they say about the gameplay? Do you remember? What was their qualms about it?
I don't recall, to be honest. I know. I know they were just talking. It wasn't positive, and so I saw the first. I was like, all right, I got to watch another one because I've been hearing about this game, and I watched another review of it. And to be honest, I might not even watched. You're doing something to the computer there.
I think some of it was just like, was it just that it didn't, the flow of the game and or the sort of the placement didn't work out as well as people thought, or it was not as. It's been a couple of weeks since I saw
can't remember.
Reviews.
Yeah.
Well, Mitch approves. So you folks at home, there's a counter argument to the Dice Tower. We know they're always wrong.
Of course.
Yeah.
If Tom from Florida is watching.
If somebody's played it in the chat or something, chime in. Yeah.
And my last thing I'll say before I go, those of you who are against this Missouri board game Airbnb are insane.
Yeah, screw them.
2,000 game library, 4 days. We need to make this happen.
I'm all about it.
We live 30 minutes from a board game cafe that's amazing. It has 2,700 board games. So,
but can you sleep there?
But it's not. Yeah, it's not 4 days or 3 days on the lake in the mountains. Yeah, I'm all for that.
Rob, wait. When you go, you're all about gaming. No sleep. No food.
No.
Gaming.
At this place, I'll be fishing off the back porch and
See. Yeah. See, it's about what he likes that's out there.
Oh yeah. This looked awesome. I saw the pictures. I saw everything you posted. I watched the video. It looks sweet.
Do some money laundering, some drug sales.
Yeah. I know some people were giving some grief about the location out in the Ozarks, but I'm all about it.
Yeah. Well, we need to convince a few more people. Kyle's convinced that somehow Jamie Stegmeyer will come since it's in Missouri.
Yeah.
You guys get on that.
All right.
Hey, Mitch, we got a comment in the chat about Marrakesh.
America. No, America.
JLC 5323 asks, does it have a solo mode?
Whoever that is.
That is my yeah. I don't know and I don't care. Probably not.
No, not about the modes on this
It's
one.
a drafting game, so I highly doubt it.
Yeah, not about the modes.
Yeah.
All right, well,
all right.
We look forward to seeing you on the show. I'll keep sending you the link, and you can keep ignoring us.
Hey, hold on. Mitchell.
Soonish.
You do whatever you want, because I ignored them for a long time.
It's not you, it's me. That's all
exactly.
I'll say.
That's right. It's a relationship. It's not you, it's me. Leave me alone.
All right, Bobby.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thanks for
Appreciate
calling
you.
him.
See you,
All
man.
right, take it easy.
Phone lines open again. And that was our buddy Mitch out of Louisiana. Give us an update.
New Iberia.
New Iberia.
Not old Iberia.
Yeah, not old
New
Iberia.
Iberia.
New Iberia.
I want to go back. The Queen Games, like that city collection, like how much money
Oh yeah.
would you have to pay to get all of the city collection? Like the luck, it's got to be over $1,000.
More than I'm willing to pay.
Well, I was gonna say somebody talked about it when they first announced the whole thing. I would say it was closer to 2,000. Yeah.
Oh,
Holy crap.
that's crazy. I mean, I like Stephen Fell, but I'm not that much.
2,000?
Yeah, for the whole series. I mean, the whole series is still going. I mean, there's going to be like 12 games or something in the series, but yeah.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where you're calling from?
This is Ron from Atlanta.
Ron Frazier, how are you?
My first statement is solo play is play.
Okay.
There you go.
Very welcoming.
To counter the previous caller,
The one that beat you to the punch here.
yeah. So I caught part of your conversation about variants and everything, and official variants versus fan-made BGG variants. What's cool, what's not, and like for me, I want to use my physical games. I want to move my pieces around, play with my cards, roll my dice. I spent money on my games. I want to use my game. And if a fan makes a variant that I find fun, I'm talking particularly solo here.
Sure.
If a fan makes a variant that I find fun, who cares what anybody else thinks? Like now, when it comes to playing with other people, people play games with house rules. Like it's not the end of the world, so long as everybody at the table agrees.
Carlos doesn't like that answer.
Get out of here.
Get out of here!
I'm gonna leave my own show.
It's funny. That's funny coming from Carlos.
Yeah.
No, listen, brother.
Little
Listen, like I am not a house variant person. I'd rather just never play my copy again than have to use a house rule to make it playable. Until the designer and or publisher updates something official, I'm just not doing it. I just can't do it.
Well, how's that new Puerto Rico working out for you?
Oh.
That's crazy.
I will have to say, Ravensburger did send me the updated tiles, so
Okay.
I'm good now.
Well, supposedly the rules are a wreck too. We haven't talked about that yet, but I just saw an article that this game is unplayable if you read it and do it by the rule book. It's broken.
Wow.
So the rules are broken. But go ahead.
Yeah, I've read them twice.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Back to our caller.
So that was my main takeaway from that.
Okay.
Your discussion about all of that. Like, I just wanted to say my piece in that regard.
Good man.
You can agree to disagree on that one, Carlos, but
I'm with Ron on that a little bit. So I think going back, if the variant is good, fine. I think where Jamie's point was mostly coming from is games that provide multiple modes and multiple variants. If it detracts from the overall gameplay and it's not good, then that's a problem. Like, do your best one version and then add to it. So I'm with you. If someone comes up with if William came up with a way to play Shogun differently,
With no sleeves.
right? That worked and it was cool and fun. Great.
Which,
Let's play it.
unbeknownst to most people, I've done it all the time,
There you go.
and they haven't noticed. It actually streamlines the game.
Right.
How dare
Carlos,
you?
who doesn't like house rules,
Look at Carlos's face.
He's been
he
playing
feels
trying to
betrayed.
figure it out.
Williams house
He's
rules all
betrayed.
these years and he's never even known.
you never known, have you?
My whole life has been a lie.
Ah, you see?
Wow. I touched
You
the
know,
nerve.
I
I
was thinking
ripped the
about
Band-Aid
you
off,
know,
apparently.
And you know where I got that from? BGG.
BGG? Yeah.
Yeah, and they was like, "Oh, that makes sense. I'm gonna do it that way," and it doesn't detract from from the core mechanics of the game. It streamlines it, makes it better for everybody.
Hold
Maybe
on,
that's
Ron.
why you like.
Ron,
Maybe that's why you like it more.
Give me a
now.
minute, Ron.
Somebody's
Give me a
punched in
minute here.
Hold on.
William, what did you? What variant are we using?
What game?
For Shogun.
Right, we're talking Shogun, but
Shogun?
what are you doing different?
Number
Sorry,
one,
Ron.
I throw away the rule of waiting on everyone to do an action. In the game, you have to specifically go by turn order for every action on the board and wait for every single person to do it. I
We
say,
just all kind of do it together.
yep.
For some things.
If it's not attacking, it doesn't matter. Throw that crap out the window.
Attacking and moving. I mean, you got to do moving in order. 'cause
Right,
You got to see
but
where
that's
people
it.
are
That's the
going.
only
The only
thing.
reason I do that in Scythe is because Jamie Stegmeyer says to.
Says it's okay. He
But
called
if
him
the
up.
rule book doesn't say it's okay, I don't know if William, you and I are gonna have to get together after this. We're
Yeah,
gonna have to have
Yeah.
a one-on-one.
Yeah,
Ron.
Ron on
Let's
the
go
phone,
back
yeah.
to our caller. Hello,
Yeah,
Ron.
Back to Ron. Okay, what's
Yeah.
up, Ron?
Oh, we lost it.
I think you broke Carlos, were you?
Yeah,
I think he did.
It's not that hard.
Hey, Ron, I got a question for you.
What's that?
Did you happen to look at the new Kickstarter for Unmatched?
I have seen it. Yes.
I think Ron posted a link in the Discord about it too.
Oh, well, I'm not in the Discord a lot, so I apologize. Well, I'm curious what your
great
thoughts
call
were
out,
on
Mike.
it.
Yeah, when it was announced, and I remember on a previous show mentioning my non-excitement for that.
Oh no, I'm talking about the full Kickstarter.
that-
It released recently, though, didn't it?
Yeah, I know. Like it was like today or yesterday.
Right.
I-
yeah.
I look at the page like this ain't my bag, man.
Okay.
Like,
I get it. It's totally different than the normal Unmatched stuff, so I get it. I was just curious after you saw the actual Kickstarter what your thoughts were on it.
Yeah, so here's my journey with Unmatched, just to summarize it. I knew about the game, heard about it, Tom talked about it, it decided when Unmatched, came about, it being a re-implementation of Star Wars Epic Duel, with some updates to rules. And I'm like, oh, that's a nice little game and everything like that. And then there was an announcement about some Marvel stuff, and of course I'm a Marvel fanboy, so that got my attention.
Right.
So I finally decided, okay, I played a game of Volume 1. One of my local stores had that in the library, and I fell in love with the game. And since then, I bought most of everything. Cobble and Fog is actually my favorite set, despite the fact that I have the Marvel stuff, because it's such a great combination of theme and mechanical variability and diversity and everything like that.
Right.
And I kind of want, in an ideal world, I kind of want them to pull from public domain and kind of do another
literature more than comic book IP or otherwise. Right. Carry on.
Yeah. So as far as what I wanted out of it was has made a complete 180 from when I first was interested in it. Because I think I may have even talked about how I was looking forward to the Marvel stuff, but it's the Marvel stuff is cool, but I like Dracula and Sherlock. We can't, how about Three Musketeers or Frankenstein's monster, this, werewolf, just, but this whole pulp, it's the specific type of pulp characters that it doesn't move the needle for me, even with the co-op mode.
All right.
It just moves the needle for me. So
I can see that.
Maybe I get to play it and change my mind, but I'm not going to put money into it. That way.
Makes sense.
I'm with Ron on this one.
I can understand that.
I was curious to see how that solo mode or the cooperative mode would work out. The campaign mode, the story-based mode. Maybe, I don't know. Would I have been happier if it was just Fantasy Dungeon? I don't know.
Yeah. You know what? I hope that the rule book gets published in PDF and port over the co-op mode to the other games. I don't know. We'll see. But even with that, I'm totally fine with Unmatched being a player versus player game. It's great that way. It's like this. I kind of feel like the same way with Street Fighter. There's the Colossal and Blacklist. That was a whole mess, by the way. With the Colossal and / Blacklist Street Fighter co-op game. I'm like, what are you doing co-op for Street Fighter? Street Fighter's all
you got to save the co-op mode for Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a Street Fighter game.
And here we are. We're talking about modes again.
Back to modes.
Look at that.
Full circle.
Full circle.
All right, Ron, you close out your phone call. What else was the last topic for the phone call?
So a pop culture topic, real quick.
Yes.
I got a chance to see Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves on Sunday. and
You saw it?
It's a movie. Yes,
My son's asking, he's begging me to take him.
Really?
And
it's a solid movie.
Solid.
Solid.
That's what I was hoping for.
I was hoping and praying that they didn't screw this.
That's
thing
a
up.
unicorn, bro.
I was gonna say, it looks like on Carlos's face, solid. Was solid good? I mean, you look a little stunned.
I didn't expect that.
Oh,
Like
you didn't-
every
okay.
D&D,
Sounds good. Okay.
every D&D like film
Yeah,
or
they've all been bad. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, and the best thing about it is that and this was their goal. You don't need to know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. It's just a good, solid fantasy action comedy.
That's good to know.
I was just hoping for something that gave me the feels of the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon from the 80s. That's what I was hoping for.
I got the
remember
collector's
last
set of
Dungeons and
that.
Dragons movie when they came out. They forced like every popular monster from the monster manual into the movie. I'm like, you don't need that. just make a good movie.
Well, I mean, and even in the trailer, and I mean, they had the gelatinous cube, and they had you know
the owl bear.
a lot of the
All the
tropes
tropes,
in there.
Yeah.
That was my worry. Is that the trailers made it look like that Marlon Wayans
Oh, yeah.
that the D&D movie.
The
I'm like,
spoofy
oh my,
one.
yeah, it was crap, right? And every trailer I've seen seems like they were going that same direction. They even put like modern music and stuff in it, which usually is a bad sign for me. But what's funny is my 8-9-year-old has asked to go see it. He knows nothing about D&D, but he wants to see the movie.
There you
All
go.
right, Wayne, we're gonna have to make that a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boys will go see it. Let's do
My
it.
son is begging me to take him. We got to pick a day.
We got to do it.
Yeah, so let's make a big outing for it.
Yeah.
Beans and Dice at the theater.
Yeah, it comes out on the 31st. I recommend going and seeing it. It's don't let any negative impressions of trailers detract you from seeing the movie.
So you got an early release. You got an early preview, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a
Baller,
very
right?
not well publicized preview for folks that were Amazon Prime members.
Oh.
I'm a member.
I'm a member too. I missed it.
Yeah, right.
But you missed. They didn't advertise it very well. Like it was one specific screening on Sunday, but anyway,
You know,
it's
in the words of the great philosopher Biggie Smalls, Ron is not just a member; he's the player president.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Or Atlanta rates better than Tampa. So we didn't get that
apparently.
preview down here.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you liked it, Ron, because that's I'm
Listen,
I'm
I
gonna
would've
go
gone
see
and
it
seen
now.
even if it was garbage.
But hey, not
No.
this Saturday, but a week from next Saturday afternoon, man. We could do a whole boys to the
Make it happen.
D&D movie thing. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Rocking.
Thank you,
One
Ron.
last thing on that. If you don't need to know anything about it to enjoy the movie, but the more stuff that you know, the more
you know.
You're gonna be a
Get
little
out of
star
the
now.
And knowing is half the battle.
There's gonna be
Oh, the wrong
stuff
topic.
I think there's comedy that's gonna land. You guys are silly.
Yeah.
Ron's the only adult
You're
in this
throwing Ron
room.
off. You're throwing Ron off. Settle down. All right, Ron. Well, that's good stuff.
Right.
I appreciate you calling
I
in as always.
appreciate that, Ron. That's awesome.
Thank you, Bobby.
Have a good night.
All right, take care.
See you.
See ya.
I'm glad he brought that
Yeah,
up.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in there with my Dungeon Master's Guide and my
I had
Monster
very,
Manual.
very
Here's the
little
question:
interest in it.
Are,
Yeah.
are Mike and I the only ones that watched the 1980s D&D cartoon?
Probably. I wasn't
Probably, yeah.
introduced into
I-
D&D until
I'm
late.
gonna say
Middle school.
probably because both me and Carlos, our families probably couldn't afford the
And it
television
wasn't on
to watch
Univision.
it.
For
I,
electricity?
honestly, it
This
couldn't.
is true. It probably wasn't on Univision, but it was
It
a
wasn't on
Saturday
Telemundo.
morning cartoon. It was,
I could lend you the box set. I have it.
Oh,
It's
man.
fantastic.
Oh, really?
It's
Yeah,
so good.
nice.
I mean, I've
Because
gone
they
back
have the
and
SAP,
looked
the
at it.
Spanish assistant.
I don't know, maybe.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name.
Hello and happy Thursday, gentlemen. This is Nick from Wesley Chapel.
Nick
Hello,
Oben.
Mr. Oben.
How are you?
Nick.
Hey.
Outstanding.
We're gonna have
No,
to.
it's good to be here. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. We're gonna have to check all his comments against ChatGPT to see if he just had it written for him ahead of time.
Oh, yeah, apparently.
That's right. That's right. No, yeah, I did just get back from a conference there, emerging disruptive technologies in the government, and it is cool stuff. It's exciting. I know, Wayne, you were looking at it for some RPG prompts, and I mean, all kinds of rapid text generation utility like that can really be a valuable tool for fun, for being creative and having fun. I had it offer me a bedtime story for my daughter about a family of rabbits. I said, like, give me a bedtime story for an 8-year-old girl about a family of rabbits who go on an adventure. The moral of the story should be that honesty and hard work pay off, right? And it gave me like a beautiful, like 2 or 3 page story about Mama Rabbit going with her kids, and the kids had names, and they had to gather herbs to heal the sick in their community. Like, that was the adventure that they went on, and then to go to the other side of the forest and like face 3 different challenges. I mean, it was neat,
Yeah.
So anyways, lots of random applications.
You got a lot of faith in
Does this make
chat.
anybody else a little nervous? I mean,
Right.
It makes me a little nervous.
I mean, I just watched Terminator 2 the other day. I know how this ends.
It's not even ChatGPT. I mean, I know I'm hijacking Nick. You can get back to it, but like Microsoft has their own one now called Collaborate, and like Google has their own. It's kind of like that iPhone I talked about in our Discord server earlier. It's the iPhone moment where the AI is still not really what we think of as AI based on like movies and sci-fi. It's really just amalgamating text and regurgitating. But it is a huge step forward now that you start looking at. And I posted a video, I think, in our Discord server of the Microsoft one, where it's like literally like, instead of you having to use Excel to sort of analyze data, you could literally just ask the AI, hey, analyze this Excel spreadsheet and give me 3 trends, and then create a PowerPoint presentation that can do it. And like in 30 seconds is done, so it's pretty
You
great.
can tell it to write code for you too.
Yeah, you can. I did. I used ChatGPT to write SQL code today. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's
Anyway, board games.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
ChatGPT, write me a code for a show that talks about board games.
Board games.
Hey, look at the Discord server. ChatGPT and Google talked about the Beans and Dice very positively today.
Yeah,
that
they
was
did. Yeah,
creepy.
that was pretty cool.
That was creepy.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Carlos, you guys are safe from the machine uprising.
Yeah, they
We've
like
already
us.
determined that.
Yeah. Good.
But real quick, because Wayne, I know you geek out a little bit. The thing that I think is very, very close that we'll get to, because they have the APIs available to a couple of the services, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want ChatGPT to real quick. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to use the Google's chat AI to solve a problem for me, right? And I iterate with this other AI. That is when you will have Skynet, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna break the internet, man.
Yeah, so it's gonna cause a nuclear fusion or something. Fission.
Like if you go to Google and you search Google, you could actually break the internet that way. So let's not do that, please.
Well, it's interesting. Like so just to sort of allay like scares. Like if you ask ChatGPT, and so I asked ChatGPT today to write me a review of Ark Nova, right? And basically the ChatGPT came back and said, I can't, because my data is only as accurate as 2021, and Ark Nova came out in 2022. So that's where like that's sort of the telltale sign that it's not really a true thinking AI. It can't go and make its own things. It can't really search
and it gets a lot of stuff wrong.
The database in it. Yeah, the database in it. So it started writing a review of Ark Nova. Well, sorry. Go back. I said, write me a review of Ark Nova. It started creating a game about Moses and the Ark, and you have to save animals and stuff. And I'm like, no.
Carlos,
Write
freaking out.
Write me a review of Ark Nova.
He's freaking out.
Blasphemer.
Yeah. I said, write me a review of Ark Nova, the 2022 board game. And they said, I don't have data from 2022. Sorry.
He's losing it.
That's a good point. It probably needs that older content so that it has enough variant
to grab from.
database to grab from. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep. Back to you, Nick. Sorry.
In the board game
Okay,
world,
now board games. So the my recent physical plays, we did have a small but fun group at Your Turn this past Saturday for the Wesley Chapel board game group.
Nice.
I had my 3 kids out, so I actually admit that I did pretty much hang out with my kids most of the day because Daryl was there with 3 other players, and they had a game of Goon going, and so they were setting it up and about to play right as we showed up, and then it was fun though. It was fun. We had a good time. I played Gizmos with the boys, which is always fun.
Praise be.
One of that guy's favorites. Yeah.
Praise be.
Phil Walker Hard.
So good. And then actually the big win of the day, it continues to do well at family weight co-op games. Forbidden Island. All 4 of us played, so I got my 8-year-old daughter involved as well. 4 of us played Forbidden Island, and we won. And I mean, it's always fun. It's a good time when the table wins and the kids have a good time. So
true.
That was a lot of fun. And then both boys beat me in a game of chess, and so I'm gonna have to turn in my high school nerd
card
here. I used to play chess more than I do lately, but they have been doing a lot of online chess, and so they've got at this point probably hundreds of games. I mean, they'll just sit there in front of the computer playing online against other people or the AI. Landis especially, he's using all the terminology and stuff. He's like, "Oh, that's the night open," and I'm like, "Wait, what? Why? What is going on? Who are you?" It was pretty good.
Hold on, Nick. Mick's got a comment here. I gotta touch on this. So someone asked the AI to perform a task, and then the AI hired someone on Fiverr to complete the "Are you a robot?" portion of the CAPTCHA. So the robot hired a human to complete the "Are you?" the "Prove you're not a robot" function on a website. I'm scared. I'm genuinely scared about where technology is going.
You're fine. Don't worry.
You're fine, dude. Stop.
I'm sorry. Back to you, Nick. Because the next article I want to bring up is going to be in line with this stuff. But go ahead, Nick.
No, it'll be okay. That is funny though. Just because this is interesting. I wonder if it did that because it actually couldn't defeat the CAPTCHA, or because, at least at this time, AI, at least the predominant chatbots, are, to the best of their ability, rule-following and truthful. So if it knew it's not supposed to defeat the CAPTCHA because it is a robot,
listen,
then that's why it leaked out.
I've seen iRobot. I know how this goes. Yeah. Will Smith is a robot. I'm sorry. Did I spoil it? Spoiler!
No, you're just being dumb.
Will nailed it. Nailed it.
It hurts.
All right. Thanks.
We talked Doom. We talked chess. We talked your boys destroying you.
That's right. Oh yeah, they crushed me. On the other end of the spectrum, I have been now playing, doing an online game because physically it's like setting up a game of TI, but I continue to play some of the train games. I think I mentioned this earlier in the year. I did play a physical 1822 NX. It's like the train game, the 18. So there's a whole series of 18XX games, right? They're all set in 1800 something, and they all have a lot in common. You're basically bidding on and controlling various train companies, trying to then lay down the tracks, laying tracks so you can run better trains. You use the money that you get by running those trains to afford better tracks and better trains, and then you start investing in the other company. So it has that mechanic that I like a lot, where it separates the player, Nick, from the company that I'm the president of. But if my company is not doing that well, I can still win the game by spreading investments to other companies in a manner that actually means at the end of the game, my stock is worth so much because I've got a lot of good stocks in other companies. You do need to run your company well, but if you can open up another company if you have money later in the game. So there's this neat separation of player versus company at the start of the game, no one owns anything. So, you have to just start investing in them. So it's a lot of fun. The game that we have been playing online, and Rob in particular, I'd be happy to set up a game and teach you online. I think you would really like it, is 1846. So it's 1846. 1846, I actually pulled it up on BGA. It's 1846, The Race for the Midwest. So 2005 title, old, 7.9 on BGA. I'm sorry, on BGG. Weighted it right around 4, which most of them are. They're heavy, but once you get into it, it's all the same mechanics that you know and love. I mean,
right.
There's bidding. There's like shared resource control thing, which I'm trying to think of the game. There's a game that's like set in Europe that's like this, where you can control portions of a company, like you buy stocks in companies.
That was the one I played at Armada a long time ago with Franz.
Imperial?
Imperial.
Yeah, Imperial or Emperor. Or, yeah, okay, is that what it is?
Yeah, Imperial, I think is what it is, yep.
It's like that in so far as, like, you don't actually own France or whatever the country was there, right?
Yep.
And here, you don't really, you might be the president of a train company, but maybe just barely, and then you have 40% and someone else has 30%. So, like, every time the company does well, they do almost as well as you do, but they're not actually in charge of the company. So when you're the president, you get to decide what to do, what the company does on its turn, and that's the piece here. That's what's cool. Players have turns during the stock phase, where you, the player, invest money and shares in these train companies. Then during the operation phase, of which there's two operating rounds for each one stock round. So, like, you the player, spend one round investing in companies, trying to gain control and hedge your bets on who's going to do well. Then there's 2 operating rounds, and they work the same. There's one, then the other. And in the operating rounds, the train companies take the turns. And so whoever the president of the train company is at that time actually controls the train company's turn. But it's just, this neat separation where one player might control 2 companies, and then he kind of gets one company to help the other company because he plans on dumping his shares in one company the next stock round. He's like, I'm just going to hose this one company, fleece them for what they're worth, help my other company. I mean, so it's neat. You can do really, really fun, dynamic things, but then someone else might pick those shares up and try to, go rags to riches on that one or whatever. I have been surprised. I've been surprised at how neat the flow is, and the rounds, it becomes tight, really, really tight. You, Rob, you especially would like, you don't really get to make mistakes, which can be punishing in the beginning, because decisions matter. Routes are permanent. That's the big thing. Like, once the track is laid, that route has to be there forever for the rest of the game. You can improve the track, but the original route needs to be maintained. So, like, if someone cuts you off and closes a route, it's really hard to fix that for yourself later on. So you can make some early game mistakes that really hose you, which is a bummer, because if you play this game in person, it is one of those easily 4 to 6 hour games kind of thing. So, anyways, that's
4 to 6. Yeah,
that's
six. 6 games go 6 hours. Ti. Come on,
but see,
I don't want to hear 6 from you. Yeah.
It's
Hey,
the
Nick,
subject matter
before
that he
you
has
go-
the issue with.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Mitchell wants to know
Oh yeah.
about your response to his challenge that he dropped on the YouTubes yesterday,
The Beans and Dice channel.
with regards to your underwhelming
Unboxing.
unboxing.
Carlos is adding
Wait,
ad libs
wait,
here, man. He's
wait.
like Mad Libs.
Wait, which one? Where? What do I need to
Have
do?
you not seen?
You haven't
Mitchell's
seen this
yet?
video then?
Oh my God! I'm telling you, I was in DC. I got in last night. I guess I should have been scouring.
All I can say,
Mitchell
Nick,
has posted a new video to the channel. Go check it out. It is a direct response to your video.
and I was going to say, all I can say, Nick, is sharpen up those axes and
Yes,
get
you better
ready
get ready.
for a
Yes,
reply.
you better get ready.
I am excited.
The war of
Mitchell,
escalation of unboxings has begun.
I tell you what. I'm not hurting for a cardboard box to open. So I've got the.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
Choose your opening device wisely.
And my wife watched it last night. I made her watch it right before she went to bed. She was like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I was like, no, you got to watch this. So I showed her your video, and then I showed her Mitchell's video. She about fell off the couch. So
I'm excited. Okay, I've got, I kid you not. Hey, which one? Hold on. What is it over here? It's bigger than the Mosaic box.
Ooh.
It is I have the all-in zombie side, undead or alive. The Western.
Western.
Mitchell's video is going to argue that bigger is not necessarily better in some aspects.
What's going to happen is, Nick, you have to find the world's smallest knife.
Oh, yeah, there you go. With the world's biggest box. That might be nice juxtaposition. Yeah. Anyway, you got to go watch it. We'll let it go. We don't want to spoil it for you.
All right, Bobby.
I'm excited. Yep. Thanks for the call, guys.
Thanks, Nick.
You guys have a great. I will catch you next time.
Good night,
Take care.
See ya.
That's funny.
He kept talking about that 18XX game, that 1843, I think he said, and I just kept thinking of Downforce. Like it very
Downforce,
similar.
wow.
You may own a car, but that may not be your moneymaker.
See what you're saying? Yep.
So kind of distilled down easy.
I don't think I could play 4 to 6 hours of Downforce.
No.
I'm
with you on that.
A little
one.
different experience. Yeah.
You know what's funny is I don't know. Has anyone here ever played an 18X game?
No.
I have not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So between the 5 of us, you've got, I don't know, 80 years of gaming, probably.
Yeah.
More.
Well, it's got its own cult following. I mean, you got people that's all they play is 18XX. But yeah. Mhm.
I've never.
I've
played
got Whistle Junction. Like I wanted that so I can have it like a feel,
Whistle Stop or
like a flavor.
Yeah. Mm.
Lonnie's a big 18XX player.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard from Lonnie in a long time. We need to find him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Union Pacific is probably as close as you can get to an 18XX game and not be an 18XX game, because you have stocks and you might own a railroad, but that's not where you're making your money. You're making money on the other railroad. So
there's one that came out. It was definitely not one of the early ones. It was one of the middle ones because they've got a bunch of them out there. But there's one that supposedly is really good to learn on. I can't remember. I want to say it's like 18 Shenandoah or something is what it's called. It's not even a year.
Chesapeake.
Or Chesapeake, that's it. I'm sorry, Chesapeake.
Yeah.
That's the one that's supposed to be really good to learn on, and it supposedly strips away some of the more complicated stuff and really teaches you the bones of the game. And it came out somewhere in the middle, and so I'm thinking that may be somewhere I want to try to jump on and see. So maybe me and Nick will try to track that down. Maybe we'll set up a game if people are interested and start with that. So yeah, I'd be interested to give it a go. Yeah,
I laughed really quick because I saw the chat that the username got changed to Wife of Mitchell.
I saw that.
That's the sword he sleeps with on the couch.
Yeah. Well, I got to throw it here. Going back to Ron's call, he mentioned one of my favorite words in gaming, which is campaign, which makes this guy cringe over here. But did I see that the new Arnak? I haven't seen a whole lot about this expansion yet, but it's a little kind of mini campaign. It's a 4-game or
6-game campaign-ish.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
That sounds intriguing.
I don't know if it's story or campaign or what we're going to call it, because 6 doesn't seem campaigny.
Yeah.
6 is doable.
Yeah, it's a little expedition you go on.
It might yet intrigue Carlos to play a campaign game.
Yeah, he'll get 3 in and quit, but that's okay. I can do that.
It's got
as long as it gets me halfway there.
You can finish the rest on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
You can leave the room. I'll finish this out on my own.
It goes from competitive to solo.
It is after 10 o'clock.
After dark, yeah, it's 10:09, 10:09 Eastern here. We're good. All right.
I find it hilarious that Carlo, that Rob, the dry Euro gamer, loves campaign games, but Carlos,
am I right?
Thematic,
he likes theme, he likes story, he wants to put stuff together, but 2 games in, he gets bored.
It's ADD. That's what it is, man. Carlos, I'm right there with you, man. I know exactly what you're going through.
I love campaigns.
There's only been very few games where the campaign has been able to give me enough to keep me going. And I think because it has to do with the arc of the campaign. Like, not all the games can be gems. Some of them are just you got to slog through to get through. You got to escort the guy to the end of the level, and that's boring.
Pandemic Season 1, we made it through that one.
No, that was good.
That was good.
That kept me going.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, Carlos, it has the simple fact to do with it's fear missing out for you.
FOMO?
No, it's just it's hard to coordinate. It is just hard to coordinate. I don't have FOMO. I don't have any problem missing out.
no, let's just play something else. I'd rather play this because everyone else is playing that, or I want to play this. And we get to the
No,
table.
that's just that's like Magpie. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, new shiny.
Oh,
This
new
is
piece of
like,
candy.
oh, new
Piece of
shiny.
candy.
Yep. It's like, ooh, look at that shiny. I'm gonna go get that.
But it just reminded me. I guess the reason I wanted to bring that up partially was just because we got this board behind us, and we keep talking about how we had played the leaders expansion, and we had a bad experience with that. So we need to play that again. And we talked about just playing 2 or 3 players.
I played that. I don't know if I played with Mitchell at Gen Con.
Yep.
When it first came out, and I did it twice. I played it once with someone was teaching us, and he like whooped us, and I was like, that's not a really good teach.
Yeah.
He just like dominated the whole thing, and then I played it again using who he had, and still lost. But that was like, okay, yeah. When you get
better experience.
Yeah, it's just better. But so it. I didn't feel like one was overpowered than the other one. I actually kind of liked it because asymmetrical powers is just it's just great.
That's
it basically.
big plus.
I don't know why Carlos doesn't like it because it literally dictates to you what you should focus on. I'm gonna turn all my power and all my energy into this one path.
Yeah,
and I can score.
No, I think part of it is I didn't listen to the rule book when it recommended a certain setup,
and
it didn't require it. It recommended. I think it should have been a stronger.
There was another variant of mode in there for you.
No, the board. There was the research track. It tells you that. Mode. Back to modes. But,
he needs it written by the publisher.
Research track. You're supposed to cover it up with a little sideboard. And Carl's like, I don't want to throw everything in here yet. Let's just play just the expanded people.
Right. Let's learn the people, but then it just didn't mesh with the base board.
Made it too easy.
Right.
Yeah.
We should have added that research, that new track, the new what is it? Research? Is that what it's
I think
called?
it was the research track.
Research track is that what they call it?
But I think what William was correctly getting at is, Carlos, you've talked all night long about if the publisher says.
Play by the rules.
And you didn't play by the rules.
I should.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. If you're gonna jump into something, jump into it 100%.
Do you consider a map a mode? Mike, if you get multiple maps for a game,
if
like
you're playing with
Ticket to Ride,
if
or
you're
Concordia,
if you're playing with this mode and it says you need to use this map, then I don't consider the map the mode. I consider a component to the mode.
That's a different question. I'm just asking, like maps in general for games. Would that be?
No, that's not a mode.
Not unless it adds a new mechanic or changes the basic way you play the game. I would say.
I think if the map requires a different gameplay, then that's part of the new mode. But like Ticket to Ride is a good example. You can play a million Ticket to Rides, and there's slight rule changes. So like Markland versus Europe versus India versus the Japan has the bullet trains. Those really aren't different modes. It's just kind of a slightly different.
That's actually almost a different game.
Different, or a variant. It's a variant, not a mode. I think that's where you talk about a variant and mode are somewhat different in some cases. Because Ticket to Ride Europe versus Ticket to Ride America, right, North America, they're the same game. They just have a slightly different rule tweak. So is that really a different mode? No, it's just a variant.
Right, I agree. Mode and variant is a little different. My mind, mode would be like a completely different fundamental way you play the game, like the one against many versus, everybody for themselves. But little changes are more variants. Adding in a module or something like that slightly changes the way you play, but the base game plays the same. I think that's a difference.
I thought Nordic countries felt like a different game.
I don't think so. The map is tighter. It reduces the player count to a maximum of 3, but you're still playing all the same rules, most of the same rules. I mean, there's a couple.
Here's a really good example. Ares Expedition. Would you consider that a mode or a completely separate game?
That's a completely different game.
It's a different game. Yeah. That is.
But wait, it still uses the same mechanics.
I think it uses.
But see, there you go. That's the same thing. That's a mode, and a variant would be a draft variant in Terraformers. That's where I think the wording is a little confusing.
Because Mitchell plays that game way wrong because he doesn't do any drafting in it. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Mitchell.
Mitchell, you're playing it wrong.
That's just wrong.
It's just you're playing it way wrong.
Definitely never played the draft.
But I know why he plays it that way, because it doesn't go fast enough. When drafting,
it takes too long drafting. Adds an hour onto the game.
Hey, if you get Mitchell to play Terraforming Mars, you're already winning half the battle right there.
Because
it's a long game.
I want to play it again. I just mentioned that to the kids the other day. I want to play Terraforming Mars again.
When's the last time, Rob, you've actually played your favorite game of all time? Probably.
It's not on board.
Which one? I got 10 of them. Yeah.
But Terraforming Mars. That's usually when you.
Terraforming Mars. Yeah, that's way up there for me. Yeah, I don't know. That's top 5 for sure. But it's been over a year, probably closer to 2. Yeah, it's been a while.
Wow. Yeah.
Too many games. Every time I go to a game day, it's I want to play something new. I want to play something different. Yeah.
July 27, 2021 was the last time I played Terraforming Mars.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't logging back last time I played, so it's been a while.
I don't do any of the logging stuff, so.
Yeah, but I'm 0% for wins. I still love that game.
That's a sign of a good game.
How many games is Carlos 0% for win?
Yeah, that he's going to put
probably the major majority
top 10. Yeah. All right, Carlos, you got a topic. You want to hit?
You go back and you go back to Carlos's logins, and if he's only got one play of it, that's it. He means that he won. It's 100% win rate. Yeah. All the other games that have more than one play, he hasn't really won any at all. That's what he does.
I stop playing.
So just for timing, because
every time.
Just for timing, because I don't plan anything out here. But are we trying to hit the big board tonight at some point?
I've got one to add to the big board. You got any?
Oh yeah, I could add a few.
And we can talk about. We can go through some other games played.
Your topic.
Real quick though, with William here, I wanted to share what I saw in the news. So we all know things are getting a little rough out there in geopolitical, world sphere.
I sort of started reading this while I was at work, and then work is work, and I forgot about it.
No, but so you got the whole China-Taiwan thing going on, the tensions going on there, and DC's Center for Strategic and International Studies created a tabletop simulation over the War of Japan, or War for Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Yeah, Japan was World War II, and they literally set up a game with D20s, dice, troops, and tried to figure out what would happen,
and all this new AI stuff.
Right, if China decided to invade Taiwan and the U.S. stepped in to stop it. They ran multiple games of 4 to 6 hour games using tables and dice, including D20s,
simulation
to simulate the war.
With the AIs, yeah.
Each result ended up in the U.S. winning a costly win.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things they learned about in this setup.
Any war that you win is always costly.
Yeah.
Well,
no matter what.
Some of the things that they talked about that kind of creeped me out a little bit has to do with like the fact that we don't really have the ships and amphibious vehicles necessary to rescue people off of the island if we had to. Like, so the idea of you send them all in to fight, but how do you rescue them? Like, these are all the things that they learned. I just found it really cool and interesting that they show some pictures of it here, like full on tables, like you would see in a war game that William and I would play, with like what hits and what doesn't hit using D20s.
This is somewhat new, but not completely, because they did this during World War II.
No, they've done this forever. But to me, I think what weirded me out is here we are in modern day today, but they're still using similar World War II, soldiers and strategy gamification to kind of figure this out. What do y'all thought? What do y'all think?
So I didn't read the article yet. It's on my to-do list. Today's work was crappy, but like I would like if they only took into play here sort of military interaction between the United States and China, then the game is
they did
because
they talked about economic impacts.
Okay, all right,
yeah.
The trade thing is like who's more interdependent, right? Everything we buy here is made in China, but then also if we went to war with China, they would lose out far more in economic than we would as far. So that's good to know that they at least took into part the geopolitical economic impact, not just the military.
I almost got the feeling that they took some people who make GMT games and they had them help them out.
I was just going to say,
I swear to God, it's like they must have hired some
Carlos,
guys.
go back to that other picture you had. Is that a GMT component tray he's got there in the
Yeah.
Oh, geez,
that's a
it looks like it isn't, but it looks like it is.
I got quite a few of them, but yeah, that's what it is. And they just, I'm sure they got some people, or they took, or it's the United States government, so they probably just took it anyway, and claimed it for themselves and said, hey, here's a template. Let's use it. And
okay, let's get these kids ready. We're gonna need a mask.
There was some interesting stuff that went even as far as They talked about the fallout even afterwards. These AI were kind of playing everything out, and were making all the decisions, and they had an AI set up for China and an AI set up for the U.S. and I think one set up probably for the Taiwanese. And but they even talked about the fallout afterwards. They were saying that the embarrassment that the Chinese would face as the war goes longer, and the U.S. and Taiwan hold out against them, would cause ramifications across the globe, the way other people perceive and see China. And so they were saying that China, again, it kind of at the end kind of slanted for me. I was like, wow, I wonder how much of this is just a political move, because it talked about China better think twice before they do something like this, because this war wouldn't be nearly as easy as they think it would be, and they would. You just mentioned the word embarrassment several times, that the Chinese military would be humiliated by what would end up happening, and that this would really put China in a bad light on the global stage. So yeah,
I think in the realm of technology, we still far outstrip them, and their own population is having issues. I mean, especially COVID. I mean, they're no longer the most populated country in the world, right?
I mean, all their military equipment, from my understanding, has been like ripped off from our technology. It's like the Wish version of the American Navy. No, but it talked about us having casualties in 3 weeks greater than 20 years of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how the American populace would deal with that. But so it got me thinking
about
that's
a different kind of war, though. We're talking about a counterinsurgency war against small pocket versus a large-scale military interaction. Yeah.
Where else could we inject gaming to simulate like real-life stuff?
I mean, I got a game that it's a solo game. And you might, I don't know if you'll pull up. It's called Tarawa.
Oh, no, I know Tarawa. That's a good one. The World War II Pacific Island ones.
Yeah, and there's a mechanic in the game to where, as you're fighting the Japanese, you have combat fatigue. There's a whole mechanic about combat fatigue, and you may want to do certain things, and it's just not going to happen because your guys are just saying, nope, sorry, it's not going to happen. We're fatigued, either shell shock or we just too many casualties or whatever supply issue.
Well, I'm thinking gamification in like today's world and outside of war. So like I saw the Founders movie, Michael Keaton, Batman, right?
Yep.
Batman? Okay. The McDonald's movie, Founders.
He just wants the name.
And it shows them on a tennis court, which is a true story. I remember seeing in a documentary where they chalk outline a kitchen for McDonald's and then have people run scenarios for cooking burgers to try to figure out the fastest layout, the layout that led to the fastest, easiest production of burgers. Like, where could we interject games? Like, if we started a business of consulting.
I played Food Chain Magnate. I know where this is going.
So there's actually there's a few TED Talks by her name is Jane McGonigal, and she talks about gamification of video games, right? And she talks about, if you count the amount of hours, this is from a couple of years ago, look at the amount of hours in a week that people play World of Warcraft, and it's hundreds of millions of hours in a week. And if we took a game that said, instead of just you're trying to figure out a rating a boss in World of Warcraft, but we made a game about solving global energy, and had thousands and kids playing this, an MMORPG about solving various problems. The amount of computing power that these people are putting into human intellect and human ingenuity would solve problems way faster than we do now. And that's and we've been talking about sort of the gamification of things. And so there's a few TED Talks where she talks about how let's develop video games that include real world problems. And we've seen that, like the math problems that get thrown out online, where you have thousands of people working on the same math problem. And we've seen problems that have been unsolvable for hundreds of years get solved in a matter of weeks or days once you get hundreds of thousands of people looking at the same problem at the same time. And that's the gamification of the world. And we're seeing that even in my kid's school. My 8-year-old comes home with stuff that's clearly gamification of math in the classroom.
And I hear that a lot, that word thrown around a lot at work, right? But like thinking of what that would look like in today's world, I see it here in this article we just watched, right? We saw a game help out with deciding strategy and planning for an event. Where else could we use this? Like in claims? Could we do this in claims? Like, could we create like a board game like Pandemic, where you got like water losses and fire losses and different theft losses, and you got to go handle the claim? And
well, don't people do that now with statistics when it comes to that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I guess good. All the
And in a
analytics
matter of
involved.
speaking, they do that statistically, saying, "Well, we know this client is in a higher category of risk than this one." They're kind of just playing the game with you, and you're the pawn. You're the piece on the board, and they're the ones playing you. They're the ones dictating where you can go, what you're gonna do, how much money you can spend on this and do that. Kind of, it's the same thing. You're probably doing at work, you don't even know it. You're the one dictating who's gonna get their payouts, right?
Yeah, the little hamster on the wheel is calculating my 10 key,
something like that. Yeah.
So I mean,
all right. No, it just got my mind going. That's it for that topic, I think.
Well, at least we know. We at least we know it works.
We'll look in the chats to see if anybody else have ideas of how they see gamification in real life.
And it's just think about board game design, right? We've spent a lot of time talking about AI, right? So you've seen Watson and other things take on Go and chess, and I just looked up her name. That's her.
McGonagall.
I'll
look it up.
It's pretty cool. She has a good, but so think about like if you're developing a board game, you can literally have ChatGPT or Google's AI, feed them the rules and feed them the game, and let them play test it 1,000 times and see what comes out as the broken rules or the broken strategies. So I think board game design in the next 5 to 10 years is going to become way tighter in regards to like when a game gets released. You're not going to have that like, well, everyone lay eggs and that's how you win the game, and all you got to do is lay eggs on the bird cards and that's how you win, right? Like you won't have those sort of broken.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, when Wingspan first came out, people said basically it's just
lay eggs and you win.
Toward the end, everybody was laying eggs.
Lay eggs. Just lay eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Get as many boards as you can, many eggs, and just lay those
Carlos
eggs.
is making notes.
A point per egg.
He's like, that's how you win.
Yeah.
What is this winning you speak of? I've never heard of this
I'm
thing.
going to stomp her with laying eggs.
All right. Recently played games around the horn. Anyone has anything that they want to add to their top 20s for the year? Anything from this last week?
I'm still working on my top 20, but I did play like a lot of games this past last Thursday or so, or no, Friday. Was some spring break. Some coworkers invited me to the house, and they knew I was a board gamer, so I just bought like 15 games, and I said, "All right."
Nice.
Said, what's your flavor? What's your flavor? And I said, all right, we're gonna play this one then. And That's how I did it. And I brought what I, so, but I don't have 20 yet. I haven't played. I don't remember. No, I'm still working on it.
20 this year. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I probably played 20 this year, but I promise. I made a commitment that I will do the top 20 of the games I played from discussing it last Thursday.
Okay.
So I only played like 6 games, so it's not there yet.
Okay.
Wayne, any changes to your top 20?
No changes to my top. March has been a rough month. Before the show we talked, I probably only played 10 or 12 games this month.
Only.
Yeah, only.
Only 10 or 12. That's a good month for me sometimes.
Yeah, and this is different. This year I made a mission to play way more games than I had in the past. So 10 or 12 is more than normal from the past few years, but it like January it came out like gangbusters, and February was pretty good. But anyway, nothing to go to the board probably this month so far, other than just the cool feature of I got to play Ticket to Ride London while in London. But
that's always cool.
That's always nice.
Yeah. But that's probably not going on my board because it's I like Ticket to Ride, but I don't know if it would be in the
top. Not going to end up in your top 20 for the year.
Not for this. Not I don't think so. Yeah.
Michael, go to you. Anything in your top 20 changing?
Nothing's changing, but I will talk really quick about the one game that I did play. I've soloed it. It's not a solo game, so I was just kind of like playing 2 characters going through it. It's a story-driven game called The Hunters AD 2114, and I probably spent 3 or 4 nights trying to get everything straight in my head, watch videos, went through the rule book, which is the information's in the rule book is just laid out really bad, and I finally just got frustrated And I was like, screw this, and I just packed it all back up. I played like 1.5 scenarios, and I thought I did everything right. And then when you set up, it's very card driven, where you're building out the map. It's like post-apocalyptic kind of, and
Right up your alley.
Right. So, and you're pulling cards out of the box and you're creating the map like all at once. But then they have this system of like some of the cards are the locations, and then you are placing cards either on top or underneath the location card. So if and there's two different ways. You can either do it face up or face down. So if the card's face down on top of the card, when you go to that location, you have to flip that card over and resolve it. If it's face up, you have the option of resolving it. And then if it's underneath face down, like you're looking at the back of the card where you can't read the text, because every card has like story stuff on it. If it's under the card face down, you can visit the location and you have the option of reading it. But if you do, you have to resolve it. And then you have it face up underneath the card where it's free to read and you can do it anytime you want if you want to. But then there's like this whole day tracking thing. But they have multiple cards for the same location. And it was just, I think I understand it now. But I got so flipping aggravated. I finally, like last night, I was like, screw this. I'm done. I'm freaking done. And you know how you get, you kind of talk to yourself. And I'm like, this is just so freaking aggravating. I don't even want to play this effing game anymore. And I packed it all
we're
back
not
up.
Stupid people. Like, why is it so hard? We're not. Maybe I am.
I think it was the rule book I think all the information was in the rule book, but there were just certain things that I couldn't find if they were in the rule book. And it just, some parts of it were just confusing. And then I started watching playthroughs online to make sure I was doing things correctly, even though it was like kind of spoiler in the very beginning of the story. But even watching them, like everybody was making mistakes. And I was even catching, well, no, they're not doing that right. That's not. And then they would do something different. I was like, is that how that's supposed to be played in this game? And it was just this whole, yeah, I did not enjoy myself at all. So unfortunately, it's back on the shelf, and I may even end up selling it because, I mean, it's one of those games where I'm just kind of like, am I even really going to? And it's a effing table hog too. Like, I have a big dining room table. I had 2 leaves in it, and it still filled up the entire table. And this is a game that is mostly
you by yourself.
Yes, and it's a game that is mostly cards. And it plays up to 4 people.
Damn. You need a whole new house for that game.
Yeah. So I was just kind of like, I don't
What's
even
the
know
title
if I'm gonna
again?
play this. The Hunters AD 2114. And it looks freaking awesome. I mean, I was so excited when I got this Kickstarter delivered. But again, I really need to think about if I'm going to play it again or if I'm just going to sell it. Because it's not in retail, so I know I can get a good chunk of change for it and make a lot of room because it's a big box game.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right,
So
Rob,
it
on to you.
didn't make my top 20.
Oh, wow.
It's going to the bin.
Yeah, it
All
could
right,
be.
I'm going to hit a few that I didn't make the list for various reasons. I'm going to try to go through these fairly quickly, but I've got a handful of them. So I'm going back to a couple of weeks here, all the way back to
2 hours later.
Yeah, back to Escape Winter, which was, gosh, I mean, it's got to be what, a month ago almost already. Yeah, we haven't done this in a few weeks, so let me just jump back on my log plays back to there. Sorry, one moment, please. Here we go. There was a few that I wanted to mention. Last time I hit a few of these. So vegetable stock I mentioned last time. My crop list I mentioned last time didn't make it. Scout didn't quite make the list. Comic Hunters was an interesting one. Dan
want to play that.
Yeah, Dan has a copy from Your Turn has a copy of this that he had imported from a friend who's in, I think it's Brazil.
Brazil's where it's at, yeah.
And so he's got it. It's fairly language independent. Actually, the game is language independent. The little comic books. It's all about collecting comics. And so
Marvel specific.
Marvel comics, yes, exactly. Marvel comics. And so some of the stuff there is some of the stuff on the board is that tell you what each of the sections do is in Portuguese. Is that I think it's Portuguese. Yeah. And so, but once you learn what each of the areas do, there's little icons that show you kind of what each area does. So once you learn that part, the rest of the game is independent. So I'm not ready to rate this one yet. I want to play it again. It was very good. It is a mashup of, I think it's 4 different types of drafting in the game, which I love drafting, but it uses 4 different types of drafts to kind of get these comics and to acquire things. And it's got a set collection thing going on. It's got some choices about whether you go deep into one type of comic or whether you diversify your collection.
Oh, nice.
So that you can show it off and get points for different ways. So it's kind of a point salad, which I tend to kind of like those games, actually. But I need to play this one again. My first one was definitely a learning game, and but it's really neat looking. The theme, I said it. Is,
there you go.
It's really interesting. I have never in my life collected comics, but putting that theme on here really works, and it's really interested. Got lots of geeky goodness in it, so that's one I would almost put on the list here, but I want to hold off because I don't know.
That's on that's in the library at your turn.
I believe it is. I believe he's put it in the library for everybody.
Your turn, a board game cafe in Zephyr Hills, Florida.
Zephyr Hills, Florida. Yep.
I gotta play that game.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. One that I'm gonna rank here. I'm gonna do this one first for a particular reason because I don't know that it's gonna stay on here too long. But a game that I played twice and got taught was The Great Split. This is a really interesting game. I really liked it quite a lot. It's really easy to teach. It does what it does really well. It's cubes on tracks, which has got me all over it. So all you're doing is cubes on tracks. This is a game that takes the I cut, you choose concept, and that's the main mechanic in the game. So you're getting cards. You've got a little divider card that you decide where to divide. The number of cards you have in your hand goes up as the game goes along. It's 5, 6, or I think 7 cards in the later rounds. But you're just getting some new cards. You're putting this divider in. You're putting them in a little envelope. You pass to the left. So everybody gets the envelope from the other person. You're going to choose everything on one side of the divider or the other. And then you're going to keep those. You're going to give the envelope back with the other half of the cards or the ones that were on the other side. You're going to get back the envelope that you had given. And then you're going to have those cards 4, 5, 6 cards, whatever it ends up being, to make your hand, and it's just going to push cubes on tracks. And so you're trying to push the right things. It's got combo-y goodness. If you push this track, it may give you a push on that track, which allows you to do 2 pushes on that track.
Like that.
And so it's got a lot of mechanics that I like. I got to play it some more. I liked it a lot. And to be honest, I didn't realize until I started looking at my board closely here about 5 minutes ago of where this was going to rank. And my board is getting rough. I don't know if you feel that, Carlos. This is getting hard to do because I liked this game a lot. And I thought this was going to be in the middle of my pack, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be down at the bottom. I'm going to need to get some more plays of it in. But instead of stalling here, let me put it up here.
All right, started at the bottom. His bottom is Endless Winners coming off at 20.
So that's a 20. So,
Hanamakoji's at 19. Biblios is 18. 17 is Furnace. 16 is Guild of Merchant Explorers. 15 is Clank Catacombs. 14 is Lost Ruins of Arnak. 13 is Zulkin. 12 is Ethnos. 11 is Welcome to. In the 10th spot is Shogun. Number 9 is Res Arcana. Number 8, Tapestry. Number 7 is Trajan. And we're getting into that close top 5 here. Number 6 is Unsettled. Number 5, Thunder Alley. I think that's going to be a tough line for games to jump into in the future. Number 4, Mosaic. Number 3, Blood Rage. Number 2 is Orleans. And number 1, in the right place, Brass Birmingham. And Robert, you have selected the place.
I'm going, right now I'm going to go number 16. So I'm going above Furnace, going above Guild of Merchant Explorers, and just below Clank Catacombs, which is another new play that I had. So I need to reorder these a little bit. I'm feeling it now. I need to play these again just so I can officially reorder them a little bit. My feeling is that Guild of Merchant's probably going to drop a little bit. I don't want to give too much away, but that's probably going to drop a little bit on the other side. But I feel these games are going to come off here. But,
seeing as you've already written 2 more, we can go ahead and pull Hanamakoji
and
Biblios off.
It hurts me. Those are great games. These are games I really enjoy.
But
you espouse your love for them.
Biblios, Hanamakoji, and Endless Winter are now all off your list.
Yeah. The Endless Winter didn't hurt so bad, but to be honest, the Hanamakoji and the Biblios do hurt. Those are games
really good. I like that.
Yeah, I really like those games. So they may come back on at some point with some more plays, but I'll go ahead and knock mine out here. I'll try to go quick here. So another one is this one is a classic for me. This is Seven Wonders Duel. Carlos and I have loved this game for a long time.
Great game.
Yeah, there's a reason this game is always on. Anybody who makes a top 5 or a top 10 list of 2 2-player games, this is on 90% of those lists. I mean, anybody who's played this, I just can't imagine there's many 2-player games, 2-player only, so that is a limitation, but too many 2-player games that can beat this one. So this one is, again, a little hard to rate just because it's a great game, but it is 2-player only, so it has its limitations for the crowd and who you can play it with. But let me take a ponder for just a moment.
Did you guys play with the expansion or no? Or one of the expansions? Or
I did not. My most recent plays were based off of just the base. I taught Dan to play it at Escape Winter, and as soon as we played it, it was actually the next day, but as soon as we played
taught Dan?
Yeah, I taught
He'd
Dan.
Never
He'd
played
never
it?
played it before,
Wow.
so
man.
He wanted to play it again immediately, and we had to go do something, but the next day we pulled it out and played it again, so yeah, he really liked it.
Mine is currently in the 18 spot, and my play was also base game only. I taught it to Melissa, and it just reminded me what a great game it is. I have the Pantheon expansion, but I never did buy the Agora. I never bought that one.
Is that the one with the boats?
The Senate.
Okay.
Yeah,
it has, like,
I heard Pantheon is the better of the two.
It is.
That's my understanding.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And Rob's shooting up with 7 Wonders. He's already got the 14 spot open.
I am, with the caveat again that it's 2-player, so it is a little limited in that. But just for my fun of playing this game and being able to knock it out in 20, 30 minutes and reset it and do it again,
it's earning its place.
Yeah.
And I love that Civ building theme.
What game is this that he's got on there now?
7 Wonders Duel.
I thought he already placed it.
No, that was me. I had it in my 18 spot. And he's going.
Wow.
He's at 10
he at now. 10.
Top 10. He's at 10.
I'm going 10. I'm going
He's
behind
going
Res
10.
Arcana. Behind Res Arcana.
Above Shogun.
Shogun. So, yeah, it's right in that slot for me. So, again, I do realize the limitation. The thing that hurts a little bit is it is 2-player. I wish there was a... Well, I don't wish there was a multiplayer. 7 Wonders is a multiplayer version. So, yeah.
There's a mode for
There's
it.
a mode.
There's a mode for that.
It's
So
a totally different game, though.
They invented that afterwards.
Yeah.
So. My last one is LeHarve. LeHarve Uwe Rosenberg. I just learned this. I had never played this game before, and I was taught by Daryl over at Your Turn, I think it was 2 weekends ago. And I am a big fan of Caverna. I like Caverna a lot. I played with the Glass Road one recently. That was at a Dice Tower event, and I didn't like that one so much. A lot of people like that one. It's kind of a pared-down version of some of these bigger games. LeHarve is a big game. Anybody who's a fan of the Dice Tower knows that this was Tom Vassel's #1 game for years and years and years.
Yep.
It's not going to #1 on my list for sure. I still like Caverna better. Caverna's not on my list just because I haven't played it recently. That's another one I need to get to the table again soon. I played it digitally a few times, but I'm only logging my analog plays here. LeHarve is going to make my list, and it's got a potential to move up as I learn it. And it's a lot of Uwe's games. You have to learn the tiles and the options that are available, what you can do, what you can buy. So this one's going to go on there, but it's going to go not as high as probably a lot of people might think. There's a lot of people who love LeHarve. And I'm actually going to put it behind Lost Ruins of Arnak. So it's going to be kind of down here, kind of low. I think I'm going to put it...
So you got to move up Shogun to 11. Welcome to 12. Yeah. So do some movement here. Ethnos at 13 now. Zolkin at 14. Lost Ruins. This is the... Oh, it's going up. 15 to Lost Ruins. Catacombs. Clank Catacombs is 16. He just put the Great Split up there.
Yeah, I know. It's like I said, that one may not be too long for the list, but I'm going to go at 17. I'm going to go above the Great Split that I just put on and put it below Clank Catacombs. So all recent plays for me, but that's it. That's me for this week.
All right.
Wow.
Carlos, anything?
So my quick list here, starting at the 1 spot, I'm going to go top to bottom for mine. Brass Birmingham, #2, Castles of Burgundy, #3, Cascadia, #4, Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done, for the folks who listen to this later. #5, Mosaic. #6, Concordia. #7, Gizmos. #8, Lost Ruins of Arnak with the expansion. #9, Smartphone Inc. #10, Furnace. 11 is Radlands. #12 is Shogun. 13, Ethnos. In the 14th spot, Biblios. 15, Tapestry. 16, Potion Explosion. 17, Pitch Car. 18, 7 Wonders Duel. 19, Welcome to, and my bottom of the lineup, #20. Tiny Epic Kingdoms going off the board. Coming off the board, which I'm okay with. Tiny Epic Kingdoms was fun. I like the compactness of it. But my game that I'm bringing up is Viticulture. I'm not going to speak too much about it because we talk about it a lot.
That's a big one.
It's a winemaking game. It's Jamie Stegmaier. It's a worker placement game. Yeah, keep moving them down.
Start sliding them for you?
Start sliding them down. Because we're going to be...
kind of funny because Carlos used to play this game. He fell asleep.
He has.
He's
he
fallen
has.
But that was
He's
a
a lot of
six-player
good
game.
games.
That was that a six-player game while drunk
But
late night at Dice Tower?
his whole mentality, if he falls asleep, he's like, "Oh, so it's a board game. I don't like it. Sucks."
No, because I've fallen asleep to Thunder Alley.
He
and
fell
the
asleep
moment I
during
get that
Thunder
played this
Alley,
year,
man.
it's going to the top.
Don't let me go too far.
Dying
No,
laughing
keep going,
when
Bobby.
he was doing that.
Above
'Cause
shoulder,
as he
we're in the
was-
12th spot.
As he
Above
was
Red
falling
Lanes.
asleep during Thunder Alley, he was pulling the tablecloth, so
Oh,
the
he
game
was.
was like moving
Yep.
across the
Yep.
table.
So we grabbed the tablecloth real quick. Yep.
Listen,
So
I
now-
fall asleep during some of my favorite activities. Okay.
Lost Ruins.
Whoa.
That's a big one
Oh,
for you.
that was
Oh.
the DMZ. Was Lost Ruins.
Oh, okay,
It was hard
all
to get
right,
above
all
that.
right. Okay. Yeah.
It's going to the 9th spot. Lost Ruin to 9. Gizmos to 8.
Oh boy,
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
climbing.
Concordia to 7.
Ooh.
Wow.
And this is where it gets tough.
Mosaic.
Mosaic down to
A
6.
Civ game.
Mosaic down to
What?
6.
Yeah, I'm with you, Carlos. Keep going.
5 for Viticulture.
There you
Vinny
go.
in the 5 hole.
Behind Crusaders.
It has nothing to do with Jamie sponsoring our show at one point.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah,
I will
sure.
disclaimers. He has
Sure.
sponsored the show in times past.
What did I just hear? Did I just hear money come through?
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
So this is just base viticulture. You're still preparing, playing with wifey to get ready to do Viticulture World.
Right, we have Viticulture World on the table now. We've gone through 2 games of Viti Standard, Essential Edition, which has some of the expansion stuff, but not the Tuscany board.
I have noticed a trend though. His games are getting more popular. The ones he's playing with his wife.
That's my biggest gaming partner
Well,
right
he's
now.
getting them played. That's the
That's
thing.
the key.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought
But
you were
no-
supposed. I thought you said you were having kids so you can play games.
Oh, they got to get older. The older 2 don't really play. The youngest boy does, and now I got a girl. So
you're hoping.
That's
So-
key. I've seen Rob with his
He's
daughter.
hoping he
and
has
I'm
a
like,
girl. Is that what?
No, I already made one.
A lot of
No,
girls.
I
a
know.
lot of girls don't game though. So
I can make more.
I haven't seen.
Come
You
on.
him
got
play
Emmy,
games
right?
in a
Emmy's
while,
a
though.
gamer.
Emmy's a gamer. My daughter. Yeah, she likes to game. So
So now, is Viticulture World ranking going to be separate? You think, or is this wrapping? Is VD
I
World going to wrap
don't
into?
mode
No.
and variant. Mode and variant.
Yeah.
Well,
If
this is Carlos.
if Vidi World makes it better, I will move this one up. If playing Vidi World reduces my feelings on viticulture, I will not impact the viticulture that's currently on the board.
So if Mahir calls in and talks to you about it on the show, then maybe it bumps it up a little bit. Yeah. Again, I mean, he's called it a couple times. So yeah.
But viticulture's good. It just
Like
it's
I was
solid. It plays well.
Carlos, the Cult of the New, has Brass, Castles of Burgundy, Concordia, and Viticulture.
Yeah, there you go.
Like 6.
Classic.
I don't like viticulture as much. I do like the one experience I played with Dan. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, Dan's
he did.
With Mitchell,
chaos.
that was with Mitchell was just losing his shit.
It's after
Dan
dark.
was
Don't
like-
worry.
After dark.
Dan, Mitchell's like, "Are you gonna plant anything?" No.
He's,
How are you winning?
Dan sold all his fields like
He
right
sold
up
all
front.
his fields and
Mhm.
almost won the game.
I just won a BGA game where Dan was in the game, and I kind of did a hybrid of that where I planted like 2 things the entire game. I completed 2 contracts the entire game, and I won on just cards and other stuff.
Well, Dan planted a grapevine, but it was only because he played a card that allowed him to plant a vine.
Right,
so,
that's all I did too. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Plant 2 vape grapevines, and then you get 2 points. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, there you go. That was it. Yep.
It was
Yeah,
it was
viticulture,
funny.
its theme and its mechanisms
good.
just mesh so well. It's
Yeah.
so easy. Have fields, plant vines, harvest them for grapes that you crush,
Maybe.
turn that crush into wine,
Maybe.
age that wine, and sell those orders. It's
Maybe.
easy to teach.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. All those
You don't
are
need to
maybes.
do it to win. It's
Yeah.
been proven.
I haven't played the physical copy in a while, so I can't put it on the board. I've played digitally several times on BGA in the last year, but I'll need to get it played just so I can get it on the list here.
And my recent plays of games that didn't make it to the board, Railroad Inc., Point Salad, and Marvel Dice Throne are the most recent ones that I've played that are not making the top 20 for the year.
There was one other that I wanted to mention now before we throw it back to these guys is Star Wars the deck building game. So we talked about that a little bit last week. I've
Yeah.
played that 6 or 7 times now.
And that did not make your list.
I'm hesitating. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I don't know. When I was looking at the list tonight and I started thinking about it, I started wondering, like, where would this be on the list? And right now, I think it would skim in on the very bottom. So it's again one of those that I almost don't want to put it on just because it would fall right off. And that I have no doubt I'm going to play it more. This is a fun game. I got to play with Carlos. I guess I've been playing it with kids, and so I need to play with an adult, somebody I can really get into it with and see.
So you're still not going to play with Carlos then?
Yeah,
that choice right there.
Play with a kid, the big kid right here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But and Carlos, have you played it at all yet?
Not yet. I've had it on the table. I've set it up, and I've kind of run through a hand myself just to get the mechanics down. Ant Lab Games, they've played it, and we were chatting in a little chat group about it.
Yeah.
And they were liking it. They were enjoying it.
I like it.
Dice Tower did a conversation about it, and there was a lot of fun in that conversation. Now, they didn't call it the best thing in the world, but they seemed like they had fun.
That's my disappointment with it is, and I talked about this last week, but disappointed is it does feel so much like Star Realms. It's better than Star Realms, but it's not different enough. And so I'm starting to, the more I'm playing it, I'm starting to feel, ooh, is this really great? I mean, it's almost like almost the same game, just better, but I don't know. So I've got mixed feelings on it. I don't know. It's making it hard for me to rank.
Is your dislike of Star Realms coloring your opinion? Maybe.
No, I like Star Realms. Carlos.
Oh,
and
you do? I thought you didn't
mentioned,
like it. Okay.
You missed the show last week, but yeah, we talked about how Carlos and I used to play Star Realms at on our lunch breaks. We did it for months. We played it almost every lunch break, and we played a ton of Star Realms. And I like Star Realms quite a bit. And this adds a few new yeah, they're still putting out Star Realms. Yeah.
Okay. So then I was wondering if Fantasy Flight owns Star Realms. I don't think they do they?
No.
Okay.
They just did a huge Kickstarter recently, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they had a big box or something that came out with everything in it. Yep. So I don't know. It's not different enough. It's making it hard for me to rank. I don't know. Maybe that's a topic for another show. But I like it. Again, I think it's better, but it's hard for me to give it on this board when it feels like a game I've already played. So yeah. Anyway,
I like that. I like that idea of a topic. New games that make you think of older games that make you wish you played the older game.
Kind of.
Right.
Yeah. Brings back some nostalgia, but yeah.
Well, that's our recent played, and that's our board. I think what we added today, Rob added 7 Wonders Duel. It took over the 10 spot. He added LeHarve in the 17 spot, and he added The Great Split, which is probably the newest game that you've played recently, into that 18 spot. And then I added Viticulture where it belongs in the top 5.
Yeah, good game.
We'll see if it stays.
I will. My list so far, I do have 3 war games in the top 5.
There you go.
No one's surprised.
So
all right, last call for last announcements from the panel, from you folks.
Anything new? Anything
Michael, William, Wayne.
Acquisitions? Yeah.
Go ahead, hit us.
Well, I picked up a copy of Tapestry with a wooden insert. And
have you played that one yet?
No, but I figured because I picked that up in Paleo from the same person, but Tapestry has a wooden insert in it.
Oh, so you're gonna do double crafting?
Yeah,
pretty much. And
wait, Paleo, the cooperative one, right?
Yeah, when we played.
Yeah,
I think you're gonna like that, Mike.
It's good.
I've been wanting to play that.
Listen to you set up the AD game, that AD 20 something. What you were trying to get out of that, I think Paleo's going to give it to you with much more ease and understanding, and it's going to be challenging. And because you talked about the different events, like you reach that card, and if it's face up, you can choose to. If it's face down, you got to hit it. And all I kept thinking back to was Paleo. Like William taught it to us. You play these cards out of the deck. Yeah, we only did the first adventure.
Well for the first adventure, then the second adventure, we just like, what are we doing wrong?
You're running through that deck, and it's hitting you with these events and these obstacles and these good things. So you're like almost like that exploration feel is done so well in Paleo. I'm going to recommend that one for you to get to the table soon.
Yeah, sounds good.
But before you move on Hall, I want to talk about Tapestry.
Okay.
Because I was watching Jamie this week talk about it. And I know we've had discussions on this show on is Tapestry a Civ game or not. And some folks didn't feel like it was a Civ game. Some folks did. I had my disappointments because it wasn't as civvy as I wanted it to be.
That was, but you're disappointed because of you were anticipating certain
a full
things.
Civ game.
Yeah.
Right.
But he unabashed, and I wrote it down. I quoted him. He unabashedly said that, and it kind of hurt his feelings, I guess. It breaks his heart when they say it's not a Civ game. So in his mind,
really,
he developed a Civ game. Like he built a Civ game and he said it breaks his heart to hear people say it's not a Civ game. So I had a reason to believe I was getting into a Civ builder. It just didn't meet my
expectations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, then
So
you
I
got
wanted to bring
the
that.
hardcore Civ players like probably me and you, and
Right.
you have the lighter side. So those are the people who are going to say, this is a Civ game. And then you probably got the ones expecting, something more involved, and they're saying,
Nah, bro, it's like Coke Zero. That's not like full on Coke. That's like Coke with an aftertaste.
But it's still
And
Coke.
then gives you the runs
Coke.
afterwards because
It's
all
still
that
Coke.
fake sugar runs
Sound
through
like
you.
you're talking from personal experience.
Yeah.
I think he's got a problem with Coke Zero.
All right, so can I continue?
Yeah. Next, go ahead.
So then I also got Sleeping Gods, which I got a killer deal on. It's basically the all-in Kickstarter with all the upgraded components and everything with an insert. I'm not even going to talk about the price because it's like I stole it from the guy for what I got it for. But anyway, and then I finally got Earth delivered, which was a Kickstarter. So. And I haven't broken into that because I just got the sleeves in today. So
So
I
much
can
hype
sleeve it.
around that game.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna like it a lot from everything that I've read about and seen. It seems like
Tom Basso says he'll never play Terraforming Mars again.
Yeah, some
Because
people,
I
of
think
Earth.
he's a liar.
Because of
some people in
Earth.
our game group have played it digitally and they're liking it a lot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's definitely. What's interesting is you have Terraforming Mars, Ark Nova, and now Earth. And people, Ark Nova is the Terraforming Mars killer, and then a year later, Earth is the Ark Nova killer. It's like I played once on BGA, and man, it's I need to play it in person.
I think it's great that we have all these games that
Yeah.
that are competing for each other. Like, man, this is so good it could not get, but they're all still good.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
I looked at pictures of Earth and I couldn't get into the UI. I don't know what to call it. The Giphy. I don't know what the interface, the way the cards are designed. How you look at the icons and all that.
Graphic design.
You're right. The graphic design
Yeah.
didn't make immediate sense to me.
Well, have you read the rule book?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anybody else pick up anything new?
God,
No.
we're just horrible to each other.
All right, I got stuff.
We're being honest with each other. If somebody
3 minutes to 11.
just looked
Listen.
at Terraforming Mars and didn't know anything, they would kind of. All right.
I say this a lot, and this is why I love having you guys, and then even our little chat that we have individually, like privately. If I didn't make fun of you, it's because I really don't like you. Like I don't trust you, and that's what I
all
love
you
about this
guys,
group
man.
is we can call each other out and make fun of ourselves.
Absolutely.
We trust each other. Recent acquisitions. I want to thank Nick Oben for sending this to Rob, and it finally made its way to me.
Finally.
Tiny Epic Vikings. And
Kickstarter, right?
Nick did the Kickstarter. I don't
No,
Kickstarter.
that was a Kickstarter.
I don't.
You did the
That
Kickstarter.
wasn't Carlos.
No.
That wasn't Carlos.
That's a Kickstarter.
I don't do Kickstarters.
You requested it, right?
And I
He
traded
bought
money.
a copy from Nick.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
He asked Nick to get him that.
Yeah, exactly.
It came with the expansion, which I haven't touched yet, but I'm reading the rules currently. And I messaged Rob like at the middle of the night. I'm like, holy crap, Rob, I'm reading the rules to Tiny Epic Vikings.
Sounds
and
good.
this looks really good. Like right off the bat, I'm going to have to
Awesome.
recommend it.
Awesome.
It's got this, it very much feels like Blood Rage.
Blood Rage. Yeah.
There's this battle component, where you trigger a battle. It's done in ages. It's easy to understand what you're looking at.
Cool. Sweet.
Diego, my man Diego, sent in along with some stuff that I got that he sent to Rob, the colored or painted cubes for Red Rising. So it replaces the what do you call it? Anodized metal
Yeah.
cubes with actual painted cubes, and oh my god, the contrast.
Yeah, you can tell the difference between the colors with this one.
Yes.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Games these cube upgrades on his website. Message.
Yeah.
You can buy these.
Ching.
Ching.
Listen, I know who my overlords are. But here's a set of them, and you can totally tell the different colors now. Finally,
Yeah. They're
So,
cute. They're lovely. They're beautiful. They're cubes.
They're cute. Now Rob might actually like Red Rising.
No.
No. Okay.
Wow.
And then finally, the last thing I wanted to bring up is a recent acquisition from Armada Games.
Oh,
this is
nice.
by GameGenic.
Yeah.
It is their token silo. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a big fan of like buying Plano boxes to store components in. Oh, look, crackhead William.
He got you doubled up. Yeah.
Nice.
I've had those for 2 months now.
Armada just got them in this last week, and I picked them up. And it's almost like a Plano box, but like dedicated to board games.
All the little bins come out.
Yeah, so you can put your little tokens in. So like I hated Plano boxes because you had to kind of dig the components out to put them in a separate bin.
Right.
You can never really use them. But with these GameGenics, each of the token trays can come out and be played on the board, splayed out,
Different
to
sizes,
use as token
different
trays.
shapes. Yeah.
What's the measurement on that? What's the footprint on it?
Oh, geez.
The whole thing.
Is
I
it
don't
like
do
a
measurements well
It's
because
about what 16 by 8 maybe.
Okay.
I know your wife's been lying to you about your measurements. You're not. I can't trust
I
you.
guess.
Because I was gonna say if they designed them specifically like for like standard board game box sizes, that would be killer.
It doesn't have the measurements.
This will fit. This will fit.
That's a little
in
smaller
most
than a
game
piece of
boxes,
paper, so it's
for sure.
actually it's got to be.
Yeah, I'm
it's-
not saying that it won't fit. Like meaning
by
if
11.
it fit the whole footprint of a board game box and like
It'll
so
fit
there's no
in.
space
I think this will
around
fit
it.
standard
in.
ticket to ride.
Oh yeah, there will be space
right,
around it.
right, like a 13 by 13 or something like that.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
more actually
but
it's more
I mean,
10 by something.
This is great
Yeah.
for like some of those board games you get where I know you don't do it, Mike, but I do it on quite a few board games. Like I'll take the insert garbage.
Same
I'll
exact
throw it
Oh, I
size.
do that to a number of board games. Yeah,
Like
I actually do.
it's just a piece of cardboard folded and there's this little like trench
Nope.
in the middle.
That comes right out.
I throw that out.
The same size as the box of the Star Wars deck building game. The exact same size as
okay.
the box. I don't think it'll fit in the box, but it's the same
Yeah.
as the exterior.
Yep.
But I'm now my tough decision is
What game?
yeah.
You got all these games and you only got one bin.
I think it's going in Mosaic.
Okay.
I think this will
That would be a
belong to
good game
Mosaic.
for it.
Yeah.
See
I
if
figure
Mosaic
whatever
fits in
game that
there.
helps speed up the setup and tear down, that's the game you want to use it in.
So what bits are you gonna put? Well, you have all the cardboard bits. So
Yeah,
that'll
he's
fit in
cardboard.
the
That's
thing.
right. Yeah, it hit me
So-
after I said it. Yeah.
Don't shame me. Don't cardboard
Yeah,
shame
yeah.
me.
He's not shaming
Cardboard
you.
stuff.
You just
It
suck.
might all fit. Yeah.
William, you got to do it. You got to do that, but this time do it with the pinkies up. When you say it, you got to go pinkies up.
Mhm.
You and your wooden components.
Wooden components.
You just suck.
And then Railroad Ink Blue Edition. That's my most recent haul. Railroad Ink Blue Edition.
I'm
coming in.
surprised you're not using it for what I'm using it for, which is I
Oh.
put all the war game chits in there.
After dark.
That's a good one.
I put all the dice that's right here. I take it out and it becomes a dice tray.
I can't see that fitting any GMT war game. Like I can't. I would have.
Too
This
many
is why
chits.
you have 5 of them to be able to put for one game. You
Well,
probably
this is
need
for
5 of
my
them.
kill team. So this has got all my kill
Okay,
team
I see that.
components. So I don't have to take. I've seen people come to the shop with a box with all the stuff. I was able to fit everything you need in the game right here.
Nice.
Nice.
So
It's
I
like
got
a little
all.
lunchable.
Yeah, it's all here. So and then I play and I take out this. I take out one tray and then there's my dice tray.
Sweet.
I don't need a dice tray now because it comes part of it. But no, it'll fit in the GMT boxes. Most of the GMT boxes have inserts that are not recommended.
I just think you'll need more of them. You'll need like, and at $15 a pop, that'd be, actually that's not bad. Like I spend $50 on an insert regularly.
Yeah, you never
$30
build.
Yeah. Yeah. Sits in the folded space.
Better. This is better than my skill that I have for laser cutting. I'll tell you that.
Mm.
All right,
We're
folks. I guess it's
past
to
the
the
2
11
hours.
o'clock hour.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
We don't even commit to 2 hours. We just that's just
It just happens.
that's-
It's just organic. Well, I kind
Organic thing with-
of push this along there. It gets to the 2 hours. But
appreciate you, Rob.
yeah. Anyway,
That's it. That's all I got. Next week, Thursday, we're going to do this again. I think second Saturday is going to be April, which is going to be at your turn, is usually where we host it, but we got to get with Dan.
Yep.
I know he's got a new model over at your turn. So we got to figure out how that model fits with game days. But that would put it at the 8th of April. Mark your calendars.
2 weeks.
Yep. That would be the second Saturday, 8th of April.
I think
and-
he's actually waiting for you. And
Yeah, we're gonna
I
reach out to him.
already talked to him about it, but he was actually needed confirmation from you about it.
Cool. I want to get his idea what that would look like. Your turn is just a great spot to game.
Yep.
And then outside of that, I got the table back in the game room.
No more couch.
No more couch for now. We don't know. We could have a couch and a table next week. I don't know.
Oh, Lord,
I might feel
no.
crazy.
Couch mounted up here somewhere. We got to climb up on it. Yeah, that's a new thing. Or couch
Like
on the
a bunk
table.
bed.
Yeah. I'll be under the table. Carlos will be up on top of the table.
Yeah, top bunk
Wow.
Yeah.
but that just means we might get some more gaming back to the table.
I hope so.
I think that's the piece that I missed about having this table in here.
Yeah.
The best news was I was able to get my office, my work at home office, out of the game room.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, Rob. Work at home office is no longer taking
No
up that
stuff
whole
over there
area.
anymore. Yeah.
So that allowed enough room to get the table back in. So maybe we'll get Wayne back into the studio,
Some pre-show,
B as in Bean,
pre-show
Oh, nice.
gaming.
and get some gaming going on.
And William can come too if he wants, if he's nice. We got to put shirt sleeves on though.
Yeah.
Can't come over there with those things out.
Is it after dark? Yeah. Screw you.
He just Carlos is gonna have to check the box for any like non-official variants that William brings.
Oh,
over
I'm
from now on.
gonna have to ask for evidence now. Any,
Well, how did you say they say it in London, Wayne? It's pedophile?
I feel like I've been touched.
I just wanted to prove a point to Carlos that
No, that's a good point.
You don't need it doesn't have it's a house rule is technically a variant.
Mm-hmm.
There you
And
go.
I house ruled it because I know how you are. You want things to move along, so it does. It cuts
I
cuts
do
an hour and a
appreciate
half off the game
Yeah.
easily
Okay.
for doing
a
that
good
one that one thing.
He still
a good
feels
game.
betrayed.
He feels
I do.
betrayed.
Like you gotta have that disclaimer. And I at least start off with that.
Please let you know we're playing the dirty version of the game.
All right,
Anyway.
folks. I'm Carlos,
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
I'm William.
And I'm Wayne.
and we're the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about
How we game.
That's right. That's how we do. And next week, Thursday, is about how you game. So call in next week, share with your friends, let people know what we're up to. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Bye,
and
buddy.
have a good night.
Bye, everybody. Keep
Happy
that music.
gaming.
Keep that music.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice.
Oh, yeah. And happy
podcast.
birthday
Don't
to
forget to
Joyce.
like
Joyce.
and
Her birthday
subscribe.
was this week.
Joyce Oben.
Joyce Oben,
Happy
voice of the Beans
birthday.
and Dice podcast. Happy birthday. Earth is nothing like Ark Nova. Thanks, Diego.